Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Happy Monday, and thanks for joining us at the start of a brand new week and brand new videos and content that we've received from you that we love sharing with you, because this is a family show. It's all about sharing the good vibes, and we received some pretty cool stuff, including this, a cute video of 3-year-old Nathan Baloyi, who says that he wants to be a doctor when he grows up. Take a look.
Hello everybody, my name is Nathan Baloyi. When I grow up, I want to be doctor. Thank you.
Oh, thank you! Nathan!
I love it. It's super convincing.
You know,
first of all,
well put together link.
Yes, well, let's start with the fact that he's wearing a polo neck, a turtleneck. All doctors wear that.
I mean,
that is the look of a doctor.
Listen, Nathan, you've got the vibe. You could even be a doctor on TV and have your own show. He's got that whole thing. Hello, everybody. The introduction.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
There's even the medical chart behind him. The
He's
anatomy of the
ready
body.
for all of this.
Dr. Baloyi.
Waiting
I love
for
it.
you, young
Dr.
man.
Nathan Baloyi. I
We
will
are
definitely
waiting
come
for you.
consult there by you, Dr. Baloyi.
Wow, brilliant.
I think that you are definitely the future Dr. Darren Green of Expresso. You're going to be sitting on one of these chairs. The furniture might have changed then, but you'll be on the show.
That's amazing. Thank you for that.
That's adorable. Well, I received a tweet last week, which was absolutely sweet, and was sent in by Mom Sham A, that sent this message saying, Zoe, my 9-month-old has the biggest crush on you. He watches Expresso religiously and jumps up with the biggest smile when you are on. So thank you so much for sharing that. But it's the cutest little smile. Look at that, Baba.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
So hopefully he's smiling even bigger at himself right now.
Right now.
That's awesome.
Look at that.
Oh, it's a double whammy. He's smiling at himself and at you.
Absolutely
And
adorable.
in one picture, he is not coping right now.
Oh. Well, we also received another message, and this one came through from Eben, who shared a great tip with us on how to make pizza if you don't have a pizza oven. He shares with us, says, I use a tile to bake my pizza on in the oven. It works amazingly, and the crust is cooked and never soggy.
Wow.
Wow.
Brilliant. That's actually quite...
That's very clever.
That is a smart hack.
If
Absolutely.
you
I love
have
that.
one tile just
tile.
dedicated, it can handle the heat.
Yeah, and it brings it forth very quickly, so then you get that,
Nice and
that
pizza.
blackened crust,
The
right?
thing is, it's actually so much more expensive to go and buy a pizza oven than it is to go to a tile store and buy a tile. So
Yeah, you usually,
thank
you
you for
usually
that.
have to get those
You can
like
pick
built
one up.
in. You know what I mean? Pizza ovens are built
Yeah,
in.
so
and then
it's
you need like
expensive to do that.
coal and fire and that kind of stuff. That you,
No, we're buying tiles. We are
Even-
buying
unless if you're
tiles.
making
Thank you.
pizza every day.
And you sell the
Then it's-
pizzas, so it's
it might
worth
be
buying that.
Pizza diet.
Okay, so listen to this one. We also got a message from Reverend Isaac J.W. Harley, who shared this wonderful message with us on Thursday, saying, thank you so much for this morning. My daughter Leah was so ecstatic. Words cannot describe. So know this, on Thankful Thursday, I appreciate all you do every morning as you bring joy and hope to many South African homes. Be blessed and be a blessing. Much love and appreciation.
Wow.
So
Thank you so much,
special.
Reverend Isaacs. This is just a beautiful message, and I'm guessing that we might have done a birthday dedication or something to do with his daughter, because he's saying, thank you so much. My daughter was ecstatic. So
I feel like
thank you
that
so much.
message is a blessing in itself.
Absolutely. And we also got another one from Daphne. Daphne says, Princess got this wonderful message. Okay, no, sorry. This is a wonderful message for Princess from Daphne Nunnally that says, so great to see Princess with her happy smile every morning.
Oh,
This
sis
is so beautiful. I love that.
Princess, you're changing lives,
She
baby.
really is. I mean, look,
Changing
Princess
lives.
does brighten up our mornings every single morning, and to see that translates to everybody else at home, that is just, it's a win.
That's
We love
beautiful.
that.
Also, Heinrich Prince shared this sweet message for the team saying, you always get me up in the morning with music and dances, hashtag Tabiso body goals. Hi, Katle Kholi and Zoe, my favorite cream. You guys really inspire me. Love y'all. Can we, okay, wait. Can we make hashtag Tabiso body goals trend today?
You are such a dragon.
No, but I think you know, you're body goals, bro.
You are dragging me
I'm
through
not
the
dragging
mud,
you.
kicking and screaming.
Let's make a trend today. Hashtag,
No.
let that be your inspiration and motivation on this Monday. Hashtag Tabiso body goals. I love it. I'm on it. I'm about to post.
Everyone in the control room is actually losing their minds.
I'm about to
They're
post
dead.
my first picture Hashtag Tabiso Body Goals, because you inspire us.
I can't help it.
I can tell you one man who has his hashtag Tabiso Body Goals locked it down. It's the gent sitting beside me right now. The first Robben Island crossing took place back in 1909, believe it or not, and hundreds of swimmers have completed it since then. One of them is inspirational speaker and extreme open water swimmer and definitely friend of the show, Ryan Strumroth, who on Thursday became only the second person ever to swim 100 crossings between Robben Island and the mainland. An incredible feat, and embodies so much, because each of those swims had meaning behind it as well. And he joins us this morning to, first of all, shake my hand, dude, as a centurion. Congratulations.
Thanks, Simone.
There have been so many of these, and each one has had a very significant kind of journey, build-up, narrative. What did this one mean to you? I know it was quite an emotional experience.
Yeah, number 100, you know, it's probably a little more pressure on my 100th than on my first, believe it or not.
Really?
Just because of all the eyes watching, and you reach a milestone. Every single Robben Island crossing is different, and every single one is difficult, and that ocean throws everything at you. Even though it's become more routine to me, you've got to concentrate, because that ocean throws whatever it feels like throwing at you, be it wildlife, currents, waves, temperatures. So I was wondering what it was going to do to me on my 100th.
And a lot of emotion. It's just you and the swim, and you must go into a very kind of special pace. So this one had a very special significance over and above, because you're not the first person to achieve 100 swims.
No, I'm the second person to achieve 100 swims. Theodore Jach, my good friend who passed away last year, was the first guy to ever make it.
Wow.
And I swam with him on his 100th, and he was due to swim with me last Thursday, but obviously not around, so I dedicate the swim to him. It was a very emotional time.
Yeah, I'm sure one of the most special then that you could have achieved. What was the swim itself like? Did it throw any of those little curveballs at you when they're emotional? You're like, oh yeah, thank you.
You know it's going to, you know, especially on a 100th where you jinx yourself because you've got the champagne prepared and there are people on the boat ready to spray it on you.
Probably already jolly go.
Everybody's watching, and you know something's going to go wrong. But it was absolutely beautiful for most of the swim, and then the second half, the wind came up and made it choppy. It's an entirely different swim. So it threw a few things at us. A couple of jellyfish stung us as well. My friend Mark de Klerk, who was swimming with me, he did his 30th on the day, and he got nicely stung by the jellies.
And 30 is still pretty awesome.
30 is awesome, yeah.
Still pretty awesome. I have this feeling, like the only real question I want to ask you is why, dude? Because do you need to train every day? Is that the thing? Because you do train all the time. You have to, surely.
Yes, I do. So Robben Island swim, as big as it is, it's the Everest for many swimmers. But for me, because I've gone off and done some bigger and better and more difficult stuff around the world, it's become a brilliant training ground. So generally in summer, I get to the island at 6 a.m. and I swim just as the sun's coming up, and I swim to the beach. I'm on the beach by 8 a.m. I'm in the office before 9. That said, it maybe makes it sound a little bit easy, but it never is. You've got to show it the respect. But it's a fantastic swim under the shadow of Table Mountain, and it's just something that conditions me, my mind, and my body really well for what I'm going to do next.
Is it the cultural significance that brings people to this, that makes it kind of that mecca? There's something very special and almost spiritual about, we know Robben Island, yes, but about this particular swim, what is it that grabs people's attention?
You know, the Robben Island is so rich in history, we all know that, and I often think about that. I've had the privilege of swimming from the beach to the island and sleeping a night on the island, and doing a private tour and then swimming back, under Big Bay events, Derek Fraser's watch. And so it's always just got this unbelievable pull to me. But the challenge of a Robben Island swim is not the distance. Anyone can train themselves if you dedicate enough to get fit enough. It's handling that cold water when you're only wearing a Speedo goggles and cap. There's no wetsuit that cold gets inside you.
If you can, just go and stand in that water anywhere on the Atlantic side for 30 seconds and just see how that feels. But can you remember that first swim?
I can. 2003, I remember it like it was yesterday, and it was, again, the Everest for me, a ridiculously difficult challenge that I didn't think I was capable of doing. And I remember doing that swim and putting my feet down on the sand 2 hours and 25 minutes later in Bloberg Beach, and just, it started such an epic journey for me.
100 done and dusted. Here's to the next 100. Will you do another 100? You could.
I'm gonna keep going. It was never a goal to do 100. It's just happened. And now that I'm a centurion, I can probably relax a little bit. But I ain't stopping. I'm not stopping. Okay.
He's going straight here to train, and then it's off to work again. Ryan, congratulations. Can we get another round of applause? 100 crossings from the mainland to Robben Island. An unbelievable feat. Hopefully that's inspired you today. And then we'll see you in a moment.
Say we're on to the party, yeah. Grab your coat, get your keys, 'cause whatever you're drinking, it's on me, it's on me. Stay here if you want to, stand if you have to, 'cause I got a party, I needs me a party. Came here to get you, but I can't wait to grab me a partner and put a rocket tonight. I found a place where we can forget. Forget at night. I found a place where we can forget. Are you ready? Are you ready? I know you're ready. I'll be ready. Here we are. Say we on to the party. Yeah. Let me get my throat wet. Get 2 or 3. Then it's on to the party. Follow me. Stand if you have to. Stare if you want to. 'Cause I got a buddy. I'm up in the party. Came here to get you. And it's alright. So grab another partner and put a rocker tonight. I found a place where we can boogie on. Boogie tonight. I found a place where we can boogie on. Are you ready? Are you ready? I hope you're ready.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Well, welcome back. It's your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso. We hope you filled up those coffee cups as we're already seated, get to know our performer Niaz Aronsa a little bit better. Good morning.
Good morning.
Man, swag. A question was asked about how long it takes you to do your hair.
I asked that question.
So it takes me 5 minutes to do my hair.
Fun.
He's nailed it.
5
minutes.
Okay, please take us through the routine quickly.
Okay, so I obviously wash it
Yeah.
with silver shampoo because I just recently bleached my hair.
All right.
And then I blow dry it, or ask my girlfriend to blow dry it.
Yeah.
And
But quick.
quick, and then I put a beanie on.
And then it stays nice.
That's
And then
incredible.
it stays intact for quite some time.
The
That's
whole day.
amazing.
Yeah.
That is
basically.
amazing,
Some wax.
It's really cool. It's really cool.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Yeah, but let's talk about your career in the music industry and the success that you've enjoyed, having taken part in reality TV shows and performing pretty well, respectively, in both of them. You were in the top 4 in the one, the top 5 in the other. So clearly, talent is abundant in you. But how has that experience shaped you as the person that you are today?
You know, I remember as a kid, it was always just like a dream. It was always just a passion. It was always just something I saw in my head, in my heart. And it wasn't something that really clicked yet for me that this is something that's going to be my career path. This is something that I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
It's only once I started entering these competitions, because obviously you grow as not only as a musician, but also as a person. So all those things that I've learned during these competitions, because I've entered quite a few, they call me the comeback queen.
Oh, really?
King. So, comeback king. So yeah, it's all that experiences, all the competitions I've entered, it's shaped me to who I am today as a person and as a musician. So I'm really thankful for
Wonderful.
But
for
you were
having
quite
experienced that.
young when you entered your first one. Weren't you like only 14?
Yeah, my first competition that I entered when I was 14 was This Is Got Talent. 2010, I auditioned with Alicia Keys, If I Ain't Got You. And I actually found out about the competition a day before.
Wow.
Because I was doing a Cinderella musical, a pantomime, so they told me about it at the show, and I just went for it. And Randall Abrams, the main judge, he actually ended up crying in my audition. That's on YouTube as well. So
wow.
that's really where everything really started for me. That's what catapulted me, to where I am today, and that's where people really got to see who I am as a person and how much I really love music. And I think that's where people really fell in love with me, and me moving over to every other competition, they basically followed me through my journey. So
Well,
it's
it's
really
going to
cool.
be exciting to now follow your career path because you're bringing out a compilation of your own original music.
Yes.
What can people expect from that?
So original music for me will be more like it will be vibey. Obviously, what's relevant today, but I want to stay true to myself as well, and obviously take all the experiences that I've had in my life, and obviously pour that into the music. Yeah, that's also in the pipeline. I'm having my own show as well in September.
Yeah.
So people have to look out on social media for that, and that's when I'll be debuting my original music. So
Excellent.
That's going to
really
be cool.
excited.
And then in terms of the big dream for you, where do you want to see your music career going? Do you have a
I
plan,
want to
do you
sell
have a
out
vision?
Madison Square Garden.
Sell out
Ooh.
Madison Square Garden, man.
If it doesn't happen tomorrow, it will happen in 5-10 years, but I want to sell out Madison Square Garden. That's
man.
always been a dream of mine. I've always seen Michael Jackson, all the big performances, always perform at Madison Square Garden. So that's really been like imprinted in my mind, like I need to be there.
Oh, that's
Even as a
wonderful.
backup, I just need to be on that stage. I just need to be there.
Man, I mean, it sounds like you are extraordinarily enthused and excited about it. You're plowing all of your energy into it, so I've got no doubt that you will make it happen, man. Yes. That's amazing. Have you been collaborating with anybody that is noteworthy? Is there anyone you'd love to collaborate with?
There are quite a few artists I'd love to collaborate with. I'd love to collaborate with Youngster.
Oh, yes. That CPT
We grew up
Connect.
basically in the same type of area. He's Muslim, I'm Muslim, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
basically kind of the same. And I think our moms have the same name as well. So.
Oh, wow. Well, there we go.
Thank you.
There's the connection, youngster. Make it happen.
Do a collab. Nadia Nakai, I'd love to work with.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd love to work with. There's a lot of artists that I can't think at the top of my mind, but there's a lot of artists that I would love to work with in the future. Paxton,
Yes, of course.
Yanga,
Absolutely.
Yanga, the winner of Idol season, the season I was in.
Yes.
So yeah, I'd love to keep it Cape Town. I'd love to keep it, South African.
Yeah.
And stay true to who we are as
Wonderful
South
stuff,
Africans.
man. Wishing you all of the best, and once again,
Thank
thanks
you
for
so
joining us
much.
this morning.
Yeah.
Looking forward to the music of Niaz Aronsa on this Monday morning, baby.
Thank you.
Well, it is a Monday. You know how we do on a Monday. We get you thinking and get those brain cells
Get you
working.
inspired to get a
charged
new
up.
body, hashtag to be some body goals.
Well, that too, yeah. We do that every single day, not just on Mondays. But on Mondays, we play our regular game of Guess Who, where we
Yeah.
place a picture of a very popular, very well-known, famous South African celebrity, and we ask you to try and figure out who that person is. So if you are up to date with the who's of South Africa and what they've been up to lately, this one is just for you.
Okay, if it was a full body pic that we blurred out, you know it would be a hashtag to be some body goals, but it's not.
Easily.
It's someone else this morning. South African DJ, record producer, and singer-songwriter. In September 2015, this is going to completely give it away. He won the Breakthrough DJ of the Year award at the DJ Awards in Ibiza. He's hot, man.
So he's a DJ
hot.
and he's hot.
He's the real deal, yo.
And he looks broad,
He
I
is
wonder.
a SAMA 2019 nominee. You better know. You better know who this is. If you
okay.
think you do, that
This
picture
is
gives
a
it away.
dead giveaway.
That if you don't know after seeing that, where have you been all this year? But he's awesome, and he's a proud exponent of South African music as well. Very
Yeah.
proud producer of some amazing artists who are coming up. If you know who it is, let us know. Hashtag Tabiso Body Goals, hashtag Guess Who at Expresso Show. Let us know who our famous celebrity is this morning.
Yeah, while you get thinking and trying to figure out who that person is, we're going to take a quick break. After the break, we celebrate your birthday, so stick around.
Only you can make my day.
To book your stay with SA's coolest hotel brand, visit protea.marriott.com today.
Are you ready? Are you ready? I hope you're ready. Are you ready? 'Cause I am. Said I'm on to the party. Yeah. Grab your coat. Get your keys. 'Cause whatever you're drinking, it's on me. It's on me. Stay here if you want to. Stand if you want to. 'Cause I got a body. I needs me a party. Came here to get you. And it's alright to grab another partner and put a wonder tonight. I found a place where we can forget. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Forget night. I found a place where we can forget. Forget night. Are you ready? Are you ready? I hope you're ready. I'll be ready. Here we are. And it's on to the party. Yeah. Let me with my throat. Get 2 or 3. Then it's on to the dance floor. Follow me. Stare if you want to. You can stand if you have to. 'Cause I got a body. I'm up in the party. Came here to get you. And it's alright to grab another partner and put a rugged tonight. I found a place where we can boogie. I found a place where we can boogie. Hope you're ready.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Happy birthday, a very happy birthday to you.
Welcome back.
Woo!
Tell him.
Woo!
Woo! It's very feeling.
Baby. Welcome back to it. Thanks for joining us at the start of an inspirational new week. Are you pumped to celebrate some birthdays with some people out there? We're going to try to get through as many as we possibly can, but we'd love to hear from you. Birthdays at cardova.tv if you'd like to send us a 15-second video where you nominate the special person in your life, or we've got a WhatsApp line. This is Tobiso's private WhatsApp line. If you want to send him a message.
I see what's happening.
071 640 6551. If you've got your hashtag Tobiso body goals and want to post a picture,
I mean, you've got to
send it straight through.
Do that.
It's a thing of beauty. All right, let's say a very happy birthday, firstly, to Aiden.
Yes, we're kicking it off with Aiden. His mom Priscilla sent in this email. It's very sweet. So it's a belated birthday wish. His birthday was on Saturday. He turned 14, so happy birthday, Aiden. That's, of course, from your mom Priscilla and your sis Leighton. So happy birthday to you.
What a happy
And
family.
then we also have a special birthday shout out going out to Tennille Hogg, who's turning 23 years old today. Your family wants you to know that you are loved and appreciated. They say we are so blessed to have you as our daughter. Dad and I are super proud of you. Get ready for a year of newness and supernatural favor. And that's love, Mom, Dad, Terry Lee, and Ethan.
She looks like she's going places. Hey?
Yeah.
Supernatural
Exciting.
favor. That's definitely going to be happening. Okay, well, up next we've got a birthday wish for Jade. Jade, we wish you God's richest blessings on your 21st birthday.
Hey.
May God continue to bless you today and always. Have an awesome, beautiful birthday celebration. This is love from Mum and the rest of the family. They say that they love you and they want us to say, we love you, Jade! We love you, Jade!
That was a
Happy
shot. We
birthday,
did it.
yeah.
And then also to a very special daughter. We are so proud, as proud as we can be, to have a daughter for everyone to see. Happy birthday, Cameron. We love you. This is from Mommy and from your grandparents. Very special one there. Then, happy 10th birthday to our son, Seth Martis. You are double digits today. We love you and wish you the happiest of days and a healthy future. Have a wonderful day. All the best with the rest of your exams. Of course, it is exam season, and this message
good
comes
luck,
from
buddy.
Mom, your dad, Erin, and Granny. So, happy birthday to you, Seth.
Don't you just miss your family over the 7, man? Oh, man. Well, hopefully you are going to have the most special day with your family today. If we didn't get to you today, we apologize. Happy birthday from our family to your family. And if you would like to send us one of those dedications, we'd love to hear from you, especially to get a video.
We love
Maybe
those.
sing a little bit, do something really special. You can WhatsApp those videos to us directly. The number to do it, 071-640-6551. And make sure you include the name, the date, the birthday wish, and a picture or video. And you can send it to birthdays@cordova.tv as well.
That's
Happy
right.
birthday.
Okay, so we're moving on to a bit of an inspirational story as well, right? Because in our country, superheroes don't necessarily wear extraordinary outfits and costumes, and neither do they wait for their destiny to come to them. And that's why this week our Mandela Monday hero is a young man from Gordons Bay, not yet 10 years old even, guys,
Wow.
who sees people in need and he helps out. He decides what to do about it, and together with his awesome grandmother, they really do something and they help.
That's incredible.
With Gogo.
Establishing a soup kitchen is only one of Joshua Roos's many great deeds. He's raised funds to repair a foster home, collected treats to spoil the elderly, and pursues his initiatives tirelessly.
My motivation for starting the soup kitchen was to make the world a better place and to help people in need of food and houses. So I saw people scratching in bins. I sell food every day and people that's very hungry. Today, we are just gonna give some kids some pizza, some cupcakes and cold drink, and they're gonna play pat-pat. All the kids are actually from the community in need, but I've become good friends with most of them.
I am a very, very proud grandmother because he is doing a brilliant job. He's academically in school, he's doing very good at sport, and then the soup kitchen. I mean, this is a little boy that I feel was put on earth for a reason. And I will, as long as it's in my power, I will support him. Since the first day, Joshua ran into my room asking me to help him to feed hungry kids. I just saw something that's very serious about it, and I listened to him. And since that very first day, every single project He's bringing the ideas, and I just had to work out the logistics behind it. And every single one was a success. As long as it's in his heart and telling me what he wants to do, we will keep on doing it.
Toe ek vir Joshua die eerste keer ontmoet en by sy eerste funksie was, het ek gesien hoe Joshua inspireer in mense se harte en soos iemand is wat in hulle harte beweeg. Joshua is 'n goeie mens gewees en hy was baie liefdevol. Hy het by sy tweede funksie vir 'n kind wat met sy oë probleme het 'n Bybel gegee en ek het gesien dat Joshua reg is om vir so 'n hartmoedige seun te wees. Vir die rede wat hy 9 is ek baie trots op hom en dat hy verder in sy lewe sy droom sal volg.
To keep our soup kitchen alive and keep it going, we'll need donations and we'll need to find people to just help us with it and we'll need a lot of food. I'm very proud and it makes me feel very happy if kids have a smile on their face and they're not hungry anymore. It makes me feel very happy.
Living with his gran who supports them on her pension, Joshua does all of this and more with donations. All assistance is welcome via Joshua's Soup Kitchen Facebook page.
Yeah, worthy of a Mandela Monday hero. Joshua, well done to you.
And
well done.
Gogo there as well. Granny Russ, well done, guys.
That they're able to bring the community in the way that they do, with the little that they have, is absolutely incredible. And it just shows us that we all have a role to play and we all can do
He's
something.
9 years old, guys. He's 9 years old.
Sure. So with that inspiring you, let's take a look at the morning's headlines.
Oh, thank you. Well, let's start with national news. Cyril Ramaphosa was inaugurated as president of the country at the Loftus Versfeld Stadium in Pretoria on Saturday in a well-organized, world-class ceremony that ran like clockwork. The ceremony showcased battalions from the Army, Navy, Air Force, Military Health Services and President's Guard, and the flypasts of the Air Force and SAA were spectacular. Meanwhile, the presidency has issued a statement saying that Ramaphosa's cabinet announcement will not be made today, but only later this week. And we stay with local news, where former Police Minister Becky Cele has thanked law enforcement officers for delivering a safe and secure presidential inauguration ceremony at Loftus Versfeld Stadium on Saturday. Addressing a parade held on the sidelines of the stadium yesterday morning, he also thanked members as a big task actually started before the general elections, during and after, with the culmination being the inauguration ceremony. He said the discipline from members was commendable. He encouraged them to keep up the momentum and ensure South Africans are and feel safe. We now move to news abroad, where 4 Chadian soldiers and a television reporter were killed when their vehicle hit a landmine on a road in eastern Chad, security sources said yesterday. The victims were heading to an army position that had been attacked by elements of Boko Haram Islamist group overnight on Friday. The source said 23 Boko Haram fighters were killed, confirming a toll given by a Chadian army spokesperson on national television. And a volcano erupted on the Indonesian island of Bali on Saturday, sending ash into the sky over surrounding villages and lava pouring down its sides. Mount Agung's eruption caused some flight cancellations, but no casualties were reported. The National Disaster Agency said Mount Agung's eruption lasted 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Authorities had 50,000 masks available as a precaution. The mountain is situated in the so-called Pacific Ring of Fire, alongside 75% of Earth's volcanoes, over top major collision points of tectonic plates. And finally, it may sound a bit ironic, but the owners of Noah's Ark's attraction, a popular creationist theme park in Kentucky, USA, are suing their insurers over damages caused by flooding. They claim the insurers refused to cover damage after heavy rains in 2017 and 2018 caused the landslide on its access road, although the Ark made it through the rain just fine. Noah's Ark, 155 meters long, 26 meters wide and 16 meters high, was built to the dimensions specified in the story of Noah in the Bible and is the largest timber frame structure in the world. Noah's Ark is described in Christian, Jewish and Islamic holy texts as a vessel inspired by God to save Noah. And that's where we leave your morning headlines. Let's take another look at your sport.
Let's kick it off with cricket news ahead of the Cricket World Cup. Yesterday's World Cup warm-up match between South Africa and the West Indies in Bristol was sadly abandoned because of rain, with only 12.4 overs of play possible. Proteas did reach 55 runs with no wickets taken before play was halted, and then eventually reached only 95, with Hashim Amla looking strong, 51 from 46 balls. Quinton de Kock reaching 37 from 30 balls. So in their first World Cup warm-up on Friday, the Proteas of course beat Sri Lanka by 87 runs. South Africa face hosts England at the Oval. What a ground to kick-start the World Cup. That's that opener on Thursday. Then in rugby, Fiji has now won back-to-back London Sevens titles for the first time. That was after a pretty comfortable, it must be said, 43-7 win over Australia at Twickenham. That happened yesterday. That while South Africa sadly crashed out in the quarterfinals. The win in London takes Fiji to the top of the standings, 2 points ahead of the USA. Australia, of course, beating South Africa 29-22 in the quarterfinals of the Cup run. That was despite the Blitzbox loss. They have now, in the most important news, secured automatic qualification for Tokyo 2020's Olympics. The 7 Series heads to Paris for the final tournament this coming weekend, where the Blitzbox will face Australia, Wales and Kenya in the pool stages. That's a tough draw. Then on the motorsporting front, reigning Formula One champion Lewis Hamilton soaked up the pressure in Monte Carlo to win the Monaco GP. That was following, of course, of the death of his dear friend and race legend Niki Lauda. Hamilton, who started from pole, secured a pretty narrow, dramatic and emotional victory for Mercedes and extended his championship lead. Ferrari's Sebastian Vettel ended Mercedes' 5-race 1-2 streak. He placed second on the podium. Hamilton's Mercedes teammate Valtteri Bottas rounding off the podium positions in third. We'll delve a little deeper into all of the cricket, those permutations ahead of the World Cup and our weekend sport in just a moment. Stay tuned.
Thank you, Graham. Let's take a look at your Monday morning traffic. Starting off in Gauteng this morning, out in Centurion on the N1 southbound, there has been a multi-vehicle accident. That's after the Summerend Avenue. The right lane is currently blocked, so please do approach that with caution. And off to the Western Cape in Belleville, there has been an accident that's on the N1 outbound at the Yip de Jager Drive, obstructing the ramp lane. So please keep a lookout for that and maintain a safe following distance. Off to the train lines, there is planned re-signaling works that will impact Malmesbury train service from the 27th of May to the 28th of May. The Malmesbury service will operate according to schedule via Monte Vista. That's where we leave it for now. The next report in half an hour. Here's Kat with a look at the weather.
Absolutely. Let's turn our eyes skywards, taking a look at this beautiful sunrise picture sent to us by Sam Cross, a spectacular orange skyline from Durban. Take a look at that. Oh, thank you very much for sharing that with us, Sam. And of course, in Durban, you can expect mainly cloudy conditions throughout the day, a light northeasterly breeze, and temperatures maxing out at 25 degrees Celsius. Do keep those pictures coming our way. We love to share them with the country at the start of a brand new morning. But let's take a more specific look at those temperatures around the country, starting off in Polokwane, where you can expect a minimum of 6 and a maximum of 23. In Mbombela, sunny conditions there, and temperatures ranging between 8 and 25, while Pretoria will see a minimum of 9 and a maximum of 23. In Johannesburg, 7 to 21 is your temperature range, and as we move on over to the northwest province in Mahikeng, 7 to 24. Klerksdorp, very similar, 7 to 23. In the Northern Cape, Kimberley will see a minimum of 9 and a maximum of 23. A cold start can be expected for this morning in Bloemfontein. Temperatures ranging between 6 and 21, while the highest temperatures in the country this time around in Richards Bay, 14 and 27 are the temperatures ranges there. Pietermaritzburg, 12 to 27, while high humidity can be expected in Durban, and temperatures there a low of 20 and a high of 25. In Mthatha, 13 to 26, East London, 14 to 23, Craddock, 9 to 23. Now you can expect a southwesterly wind of about 28 kilometers per hour in Port Elizabeth, and temperatures there ranging between 13 and 20 degrees Celsius. Heavy rainfall can be expected in George, and temperatures there ranging between 11 and 17. The lowest temperatures in the country are in Sutherland, 6 and 16. A southwesterly wind can be expected about 30 kilometers per hour in the mother city, and temperatures ranging between 12 and 18. Some heavy rainfall can also be expected in Worcester. 10 and 17 is your temperature range, while Springbok will experience a low of 8 and a high of 22. And ending it off now in Uppington, where temperatures there in that part of the country will range between 11 and 25. And thanks once again to Sam Cross for sending that beautiful picture to us. Do keep them coming, and we'll update you on the latest that we've received in our next weather update.
Well, we're looking at this Good Morning post from this morning, and we are asking you at home on Facebook to let us know what's the best dating advice you've ever received. But looking at this picture, I feel like, Tabiso, what dating advice did you give Leanne?
I've never had to give Leanne dating advice. I think, if anything, she's the one with always giving out relationship and dating advice. But the one piece of advice I've ever gotten in terms of relationships has to be that understanding that people are different in any relationship. So when you're trying to get trying to get to know someone else, understand that they're different. They're not you. And so approach that with that mindset. And you?
Very interesting. Well, I shared it this morning, but I'll say it again, and it's so relevant.
Yeah.
It's basically, if a guy likes you, you'll know.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't, you'll be confused. And I think that's where a lot of girls are always so confused
Yeah.
with, does he like me, does he not
Yeah.
like me? It's a lot of back and forth drama, but at the end of the day, he's
tricky,
actually
right?
not interested in you.
Yeah, but you'll never always know. That's the thing. You don't always know, because some people don't just show it immediately. But that's going to be an interesting conversation we're going to have throughout the morning here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. After the break, we're going to be checking in with some tech news, so don't move.
You can make my day. It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Very good morning. If you've just tuned in, what have you been doing? Maybe you've been online catching up with all of your sports. Good, because we're about to delve into that. This weekend saw back-to-back sporting action from the rugby field. Of course, with Super Rugby, the South African team's doing so much better now. Rugby sevens, mixed blessings there. We're going to the Olympics. And, of course, the cricket pitch, where it was a bit of a no-run affair, but a great dress rehearsal for playing cricket for the next month in the UK. Of course, South Africa up against the West Indies in a warm-up. Jeremy Harris now joins us. Busy time, my friend. Busy time. Let's start with Super Rugby. Really interesting, but suddenly it looks like the South African teams have woken up. Great Coastal Derby, but the Brumbies and the Bulls kicking us off. The Brumbies, are they the former Australian team now? You've kind of mentioned them as a bit of a slow builder, a sleeping giant.
Sleeping giant, yeah.
Have they clicked now?
It does look like it. I mean, I've got to be careful in Super Rugby 2019 because as you pick a team, they tend to sort of go off the boil.
Well, then pick the Brumbies. Do that right now. Kieran Drani with a hat-trick, though, was just absolutely brilliant. But when they're running free, they run.
Yeah, they do. I mean, they're a dangerous team, any day of the week, but they certainly have seemed to have found some kind of a mojo, and it does seem to be working for them.
Which probably means Australian rugby has found some kind of a mojo, which probably
Yes.
means going into the World Cup that it's going to be that much tougher for us. But one good signal, and again, mixed blessings. The Stormers up against the Highlanders, 34-22. When they're on it, they are on it. They play this amazing brand of rugby. But that man there, Sir Khaleesi, just so influential. But injured, going for an
yes.
e-scan. Do we know what the extent
Well,
of that is?
the press conference coming out of that says that... yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Too many wheels there. I'll tell you what, Siabela Sinatla, any day of the week's going to get away from you. But according to Coach Robbie Fleck, he feels that Sia will get through that scan. And in fact, will be fit enough to play this coming weekend against the Lions. Whether Rassie will allow that in terms of just the red flag over him, I'm not too sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, you want him to be informed because he's going to have to lead with the way that he plays as much as his leadership, in and around the play. Stephen Kitsoff, a joy to watch, an absolute joy to watch. Sharks versus Lions.
What a game.
I mean, just tip your hats to both teams. But the Sharks needed intercept tries. They needed to pull every trick out of the bag. They needed to show a lot of heart, which at this stage of a Super Rugby season, you want to see teams kind of showing that character. And they're now probably our greatest hope, closest to the Jaguares.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think that the one thing, well, there were two things that got the Sharks across the line. One were those two intercept tries that you mentioned.
A little luck, just a little luck.
And that is a bit of luck. And then, of course, there was some really good defence from the Sharks. They got, were able to sort of out-defence the Lions out of the game. And that got them across the line. Good win for them at home, which I think we were expecting for them to come away with the win at home.
And we love that balance when you're seeing the big boys do the work up front, putting in the defensive tackles, but see some free-flowing, especially with the potential in that back line. But that's the tale of the tapes of the Sharks winning the Coastal Derby, we'll call it, as the Lions head down south. The Bulls losing to the Brumbies and the Chiefs just getting one over the Reds. Let's move swiftly on to the London Sevens. Mixed blessings once again. After showing so much momentum and kind of feeling like the team had clicked now, that experience and the youngsters coming in had now found a bit of form, looked good in the open, looked phenomenal, and then, of course, lost to Australia in the Cup.
I don't know what to tell you. It was a tale of 2 days. I mean, the first day was fantastic, 40 points plus in every game, and then we fell off in day two. But as you say, mixed blessings. The upside of the whole thing is that, pack your bags, we're going to the Olympics.
And they can win a gold medal. Their time is now. So they'll be heading off for that. But, of course, Fiji looking fantastic, winning in the final, beating Australia. Gives them back-to-back wins in London. How do we approach this final leg now, the Paris leg, to close out the season? The Blitzboks want to obviously end on a high.
Yeah, I think Neil Powell, is not going to be going, well, we've made it to the Olympics, everybody can take the day off.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be some hard words in training today, and the guys are focused on doing well in Paris. They're not sitting going to step back at all.
Cricket World Cup, everyone looking pretty strong. The Proteas, it must be said, looking pretty strong. Hash looking pretty strong. We might not have gotten a result out of the West Indies game, but it did give us one very positive sign.
Yes, I mean, in the first game as well against Sri Lanka, Hashim Amla put everybody's concerns about his form and about his headspace to bed, because, I mean, he banked himself 250s in no time at all. It really was good to watch. And so going into Thursday's opener against England, I think they will tick that box and, and look to the rest of the team.
How are England feeling? Because they must surely be feeling like they've got the advantage on home ground. A lot of their players primed for this. What are you expecting from that opener?
Look, I mean, England went down to Australia, as we know, in their warm-up match, a high-scoring affair, and a couple of question marks around Owen Morgan's fitness. But I think you're right. I think England will back themselves at home in front of that crowd against South Africa, a little bit wobbly sometimes. But at the same time, I think the South Africans are going, it's cool. We're happy to be one of the underdogs.
No, there's balance there. Just wait for the English press to get hold of Morgan and the like, and they'll implode. They'll eat them from the inside out. But we love the fact that Hashim Amla is showing the kind of class that we knew, and I think also kind of marking the confidence shown in him by the selectors. So that's exactly the right kind of sign we want to see, dude. We're going to be seeing a lot of you over the coming weeks. Best job in the world, undoubtedly. Thank you to Jeremy. Thanks to all of you for posting your comments. Who are you supporting? How are you feeling about all those weekend sporting results? Hit us up at Expresso Show on Facebook.
All right, time for some music on your Monday morning. Niaz RNC here in the house, ready to share some of those good vibes. The team is ready. Let's get it going. Boogie, let's go.
Are you ready? Are you ready? I know you're ready. Are you ready? 'Cause I am. Said it's on to the party. Yeah. Grab your coat, get your keys. 'Cause whatever you're drinking, it's on me. It's on me. Stay here if you want to. Stand if you want to. 'Cause I got a buddy. I needs me a buddy. Came here to get you. But it's alright to grab another partner and put a booger tonight. I found a place where we can boogie. Boogie tonight. I found a place where we can boogie. Are you ready? Are you ready? I know you're ready. I'll be ready. Here we are, and it's on to the party. Yeah, let me win my throne. Get 2 or 3, then it's on to the dance floor. Follow me. Stand if you want to. Stay here if you want to. 'Cause I got a body. I'm up in the party. Came here to get you. And it's alright. Come on, grab another partner and put a. I found a place where we can boogie. Boogie tonight. I found a place where we can boogie. Are you ready? Are you ready? I know you're ready.
Only you can make my day.
Have you ever wanted to be a brand ambassador? To be the face of South Africa's favorite skincare brand? Well, now you can. Last year, I had the honor to be selected as the new face of Pond's. And if you think you have what it takes, simply enter by purchasing any Pond's product and visiting faceofponds.co.za to upload your photo, your bio, and the last 4 digits of your product's unique barcode. I am the face of Pond's. Are you?
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
It's a Monday morning. We're live, large and in charge. Thanks for joining us on your Feel Good Breakfast show. And of course, right now, time for us to quickly take a look at some of the news making headlines from the tech world, where currently the United States and China are locked in a trade war that is having some nasty effects on the tech industry. President Trump has imposed some very strong restrictions on business between America and Chinese tech companies. So the big question is, what effect is this going to have on us? That's where we bring in our tech expert, Brian Smith, to join us and unpack these things. Oh, he's doing it again. He's building a wall.
It's going to be huge.
It's a technology. It's a huge wall.
Well, Brian, let's set the stage. What is Donald Trump trying to impose? I mean, what is this tech war all about?
So there are a number of different economic concerns at play, but principally when we're talking about the technology industry and relations between the United States and China. One of the major allegations, which is still unproven and needs to be thoroughly tested before I think we can really get into and discuss the merits of it, is actually spying.
Yeah.
If you consider the prevalence of Chinese products in the market nowadays, that's including smartphones and as well as the network towers which you would use to receive and maintain a cellular mobile data connection from, there have been allegations and inferences that Chinese companies are essentially using some of the electronic devices, such as smartphones, to track and catalog users' behavior across a breadth of applications. As well as the fact that if you consider that network towers also provide a great bird's eye overview of essentially what traffic or behavior is coming from specific users' patterns, whether they're on their device or using an array of smart devices.
Yeah. So with this trade war currently underway, what does this mean for Chinese manufacturers then in relation to the United States?
Now that essentially is the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
If you consider at the moment, Chinese manufacturers over the past couple of years have really stepped into the forefront and generally are producing some really amazing devices that are pushing the boundaries of what we regard as consumer technology. Specifically, however, in the regard we use them here in South Africa, we use American services on top of them. By that I mean, for example, with most Chinese smartphones, you will use a Google version of Android, which is an open source operating system. With this trade war in place, it means that Chinese operators, Chinese device manufacturers will no longer be able to access the same kind of services that we've grown used to. In the future, it means that they're going to have to develop alternatives or come up with some form of agreement that will essentially allow them to have access to things like the Google Play Store, where we'll be able to access in turn apps like WhatsApp, Facebook or Instagram.
Wow. That's quite scary if you think about it, because essentially what the Chinese devices, are you saying what Google is doing is the same as what the Chinese devices are potentially doing in terms of spying and data collection, but the difference is Google is USA owned?
So if you consider the real difference between the two is that Google is, of course, an internet software company. So Google obviously has a breadth of applications that they can use to track your online behavior. However, generally stops in that regard because Google isn't necessarily the world's biggest hardware provider. Okay. From a hardware level, such as a Chinese manufacturer, you actually have a greater breadth of information that you can track, specifically as well as if you're involved in networking.
Yeah, but I'm sure that this also presents now an opportunity for US manufacturers to cash in on this potential. But what does this mean for them?
So generally what this will mean going forward is that there's going to be a massive change in the manufacturing industry, and that plays exactly into what President Trump has been speaking about these past couple of years, is recentering manufacturing efforts in the United States.
Making America great again.
We hope. Well, what essentially this means is that a lot of manufacturing efforts that were previously in China, agreements will have to be either redrawn, or those manufacturing efforts will have to be recentered in the United States, which means the cost of devices on shelves could greatly shift in the next couple of months.
Very interesting. Well, Brian Smith's not going anywhere. We're going to continue this tech talk as there's still so much to unpack shortly.
There's a glass and a half in everyone.
Oh, I'm really so excited about this one because when you become more generous, you change the lives of those around you, but at the same time, you make your life better too. Now, Cadbury Dairy Milk is tapping into our country's generosity and to shed light on the fact that we have an estimated 3.7 million orphans who unfortunately and sadly don't get to experience the same joy that other kids do who may have their parents around. The smallest joys, something as simple as a toy to play with, right, G?
Something as simple as a football. For me, sporting toys, equipment really is a way to activate a child's imagination, get them living within their body.
Yeah.
But there's something so special. I'm a firm believer that if you give a person an opportunity to do something good, they will do it.
True. Enter the Little Generosity Shop.
I
You love it?
absolutely love it. The Cadbury's Dairy Milk, the Little Generosity Shop is an opportunity for all of us to do something truly remarkable and special and score some awesome chocolate in the process. But for me,
what joy has this ball brought you, which you're going to donate?
The funny thing is, I'm one of the worst footballers out there. But,
well, I can tell you haven't played with this ball much.
There is something, I actually got it for Jack, but he's got an abundance of toys, and I think a lot of kids out there do have an abundance. So let them choose the toy that they want to gift to another little child that they know will get so much joy out of that. There is something really awesome and social about football. To make new friends, all you need is a little stretch of dirt and a footy, and you can get out there and you can play, you can connect. And it's a great way to inspire yourself, and it's something that just you on your own can go out and you can practice, you can improve yourself with just this one small thing. So don't think that we are treating this lightly. By giving a toy, you can actually start the process of changing someone's life.
Absolutely. I mean, this ball has definitely brought lots of joy in your household, not just to you, but to obviously to Jack at your house as well.
Really better than me at football.
But what message do you have for the child out there that's going to be receiving this now that you're donating it here?
I think from a father's perspective, I would say that you are loved. I love you in some small way. I know we haven't ever met, but know that you are loved, you are cared about. And as tough as life can be, there is always a silver lining. And 10 to 1, you will find that in the amazing people around you. And you've got some amazing people helping you right now. So in some small way, here's a little bit of joy to your life. We love you. And Joy, I hope you become a much better football player than I am.
I want to see you put it in here in our little generosity shop. There we go.
There we go. Bye-bye.
Throw it in there. Get
Farewell,
it in there.
little ball.
First one into
go and do something special and
generosity
magical.
shop. Pick a chocolate, because for donating, I'm rewarding you.
I absolutely love Whole Nut. It's one of my favorites. No,
Which
not
one
the fruit
would
nut,
you like?
The Whole Nut.
This one?
No.
This one? Okay, cool. There we go.
I'm being choosy because I can be choosy. Thank you so much. And
you are part of a huge difference in the country. You have to. You absolutely have to. Now, the Cadbury Dairy Milk product is bringing the Little Generosity Shop to Johannesburg, Durban, and Cape Town. So join them in spreading that generosity and donate a toy, or visit cadburyglassandahaf.co.za for more information. Also, follow them on Facebook at Cadbury Dairy Milk SA or at Cadbury_SA on Twitter and Instagram with the hashtags #glassandahaf and #the Little Generosity Shop to keep up to date with how and where you can donate your pre-loved toys. This is wonderful what you've done today. Well done, Chief. Put it here. Put it here. Put it here. Put it here.
In everyone.
That's really nice, eh? That's really, I think, a great campaign to get the whole nation involved in. And, we were just talking now about how easy it is to be generous, because I think usually when people think about generosity, they usually think about it in grand gestures and massive things. And we've covered so many stories on the show where people have just done something very, very small, like we saw with Joshua this morning. And the soup kitchen that he runs with his grandma. And through doing that, a small act like that, now he's got people backing him, companies willing to donate food and clothing items and this and that in order to progress the work that he does. So it's, at the end of the day, just find the heart to do it.
Definitely, and it's something as small as going through your own cupboard and you're like, okay, well, I've outgrown this, or this doesn't fit the children anymore, this is not my style, and instead of just throwing it away, find someone that's in need of that specific item, wash it, repackage it, make it special for them, even though it's been gently worn. That's also another way for you to be generous out of your own cupboard. So there are so many ways for people to be generous, and of course, we'll continue to share that generosity here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's an add to cart kind of day. Win your share of 1 million rand with Manhattan iced tea. Buy any Manhattan 500ml or 1.5 litre promotional pack, redeem your code under the label and earn your virtual Manhattan dollars. Shop online in April and May at shopmanhattanstyle.co.za to be entered into the grand prize draw of a shopping spree at Sandton City. The winner will be announced on 5FM's Debooty show in June. Ready, set, shop.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Well, welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. We are back with round 2 of our Tech Talk. Brian Smith joining us in studio. Earlier, we were talking about the massive war going on between Chinese companies and the US. Of course, some new trade agreements being re-established. And of course, I think the big question a lot of people want to know is what changes can we see in the next couple of months?
So the interesting answer is potentially very few massive changes that we actually need to worry about. So going forward, consumers who own Chinese-produced devices don't actually need to worry about losing access to Google's version of Android or other platforms such as Windows at the moment. Both companies have iterated that support is ongoing and that consumers will both be able to access all the apps that they know and love, as well as be able to get security patches as and when they need them. In terms of different price structures, it'll likely be the next crop of generation of smartphones that we see will have a significant price tiering, or there might be somewhat of a delay between the next generation of Chinese smart devices, given that new trade agreements might need to be re-established or the markets that these devices are available in might change over time.
Yeah. So if you own a Chinese-produced smartphone in this case, are you saying you don't need to worry?
Not at the moment. So going forward, if you have a Chinese-produced device at the moment, you will continue to receive all your apps and services as per normal. You won't necessarily notice a difference. However, it remains to be seen in future what direction the brand can take. And the huge avenue that this actually opens up, which could be great for consumers, is that Chinese electronics manufacturers might make their own operating systems, such as Android, which you use on most Chinese smartphones in any case. So essentially what that will mean is that you will have more competition in this space, a greater variety of apps, and more competition between Google, which up until now has been a relative monopoly in this space.
Okay, very interesting. And for those of us, for example, using a Samsung phone, does that affect us in any way?
No, not at all. So this is going to be a very interesting advent to watch in that sort of the Chinese consumer electronics market and the South Korean market, which is where Samsung and other brands come from, will now have a very interesting square off and perhaps a repositioning over the next couple of months. So no, you don't need to worry.
Yeah. Do you think this is going to have a ripple effect on economies across the world in the sense that countries will now start kind of looking at their import-export trade agreements, the viability and feasibility of in-country produced materials or products?
I hope so. I think sort of locally produced products are always an interesting way to go, and we've seen in markets such as India where insourcing efforts have been made to produce devices on a country's home soil have been really successful. So that's going to be something to watch in future. It remains to be seen at a software level how this will pan out forever, and that's arguably going to be the bigger debate, is bringing sort of perhaps a new operating system or a new platform to different markets with the same level of support that we've grown to expect over these past couple of years.
Okay, well, it's going to be interesting to watch this tech war between the US and China play out, but I know it's time to go. Worst case scenario, if you can quickly tell us, what would the worst case scenario be in this regard?
So in the worst case scenario is that the next batch of flagship devices won't necessarily have the same version of Google's Android that we have. We may not be able to access services such as WhatsApp on Chinese-produced devices. Broadly speaking, the worst case scenario again is that the cost of devices will increase exponentially in a short period of time. However, that is somewhat unlikely, and there's not necessarily that great a cause to worry at the moment.
Okay.
Phew, well, let's hope those negotiations work out well then. But interesting news from the world of technology. Let us know which stories have captured your imagination. Share them with us on our social media platforms. And of course, for more, you can check out the technology tab that is on our website, expressoshow.com.
So let's calm you down after all that alarming talk. Let's get a zen sense of calm in the kitchen and whip up some marinades. Be Well are taking us back to basics today in the kitchen with some amazing Be Well marinade recipes. So whether you're a chili, lemon and herb, or maybe a barbecue lover, we have got you covered this morning, and every situation. So easy to prepare, versatile, and suitable to stay in the fridge for up to 2 weeks.
Wonderful.
And of course, jam-packed with the extra added nutrients of our beautiful Be Well canola oil, which we'll get into some of those benefits. But here we've got a little something for a salad, maybe something for a sandwich, or most importantly, something to bathe your meat in before you braai it or cook it or get into it. So it's going to be
So
delicious.
you and I have been tasked with making these marinades this morning, right?
So yeah, we're going to start with, we'll ramp it up on a flavor scale, okay? So we'll
cool.
start with our lemon and herb, and a lot of us love lemon and herb,
Yeah.
especially the chicken, I think is really fantastic, but also with the fish. This we can get creative with your herbs. But
Or if you threw it in a salad as well, as a dressing.
Oh, completely. And I would recommend make a lot of each of these. So some you can use as marinade, some you can use as sauces. So we've got 2 little lemons here. I suppose lime could also work as well.
Yeah.
I'm just going to get a bit of lemon zest going in there.
Get it in there. Well, the keyword for this is be well. SMS be well to 33728. We'll send you an SMS with a link to the recipe, and you can make this yourself at home.
I'm just going to use the zest of 1 lemon for now. And this, again, feel your way around it in terms of volume. We're creating a bit of an Instagram
a bit of a
vibe
mess,
here. You know? So we've got some lemon rind in there. What I'm going to do is just halve this lemon just so we can get a bit of
You need the juice.
lemon juice in there. Remember, just catch all the pips
that
in your
there.
hand. And this also, you know your own flavor profile, so
You can decide how much you want of it.
Do it to taste.
Well, the really wonderful thing is you can actually keep these marinades in the fridge for up to 2 weeks, which is fantastic. So you've got more opportunities to use them. If you were using them for one meal during the week, you could still keep them for a braai happening over the weekend, one other meal happening in another week.
And that's why I say use a lot. So we
dipping.
Make as much as you can. I'm using a bit of thyme here. We've got a bit of rosemary. If you're going to go the fish route, a bit of dill would be really, really nice.
Well, this is going to get that nice flavor in, right?
Oh, and the nice thing is when you crush the herbs, and I always want to use my hands with herbs, just to break them up a little bit, just to release those flavors and the aromatics before they start bathing. And the longer, obviously, that you store this and keep it, the stronger those flavor profiles are going to become. We've got our Be Well canola oil.
Well, that's the magic of it, really.
Probably about 2 big tablespoons there.
Well, the nice thing about the Be Well canola oil is that it is the healthier option with only 7% saturated fat compared to sunflower, which obviously has 12%, and olive oil, which has 15%. So it's really the healthier option and the healthier alternative. It is endorsed by the Heart and Stroke Foundation of South Africa.
Smell that,
That's
dude.
good for you.
How
And this
awesome is
smells
that?
really good too.
That's
Yes.
awesome.
I'm ready to just eat this
All
as
right.
it is.
Absolutely awesome, and that's going to also the lemon juice will start to break down the kind of meat fibers as well as a marinade. Something else to think about. Okay, let's move on to barbecue. What you got?
Then we're making barbecue. Well, look, there's no doubt that the barbecue marinade is probably one of the most classic all of them. We all love it. You can have it with your ribs, you can have it with your chicken wings, with a braai, or even just use it as a dip for your fries if you're making that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the Be Well canola oil into my little bowl there. There we go. I'm going to get this much in of it so that it's nice and juicy. I've got tomato sauce on here. I've got vinegar. I've got sugar as well as Worcester sauce. Or is it Worcester sauce? Worcester sauce.
Depends how are you feeling? If you're maybe a little woos.
Yeah.
It can be Worcester sauce.
Okay, so we're going to throw in. Can I have your spoon, please? I'm going to use that. Okay, I'm going to throw the tomato sauce in there as much as you want, depending on how much of a situation you want to do here and how much
and this really
you want
is
to be able to serve.
About the balance, I think. And that's why we introduced the sugar to balance out the tart.
Yes.
You want the salty, but barbecue's got to have a bit of sweet.
It does have to have a bit of sweet. Okay, so you throw in the vinegar in there, sugar. I'm not going to throw all of it in. This depends on how sweet you want it to be, right? So I'm going to get just this much in there. And of course, the Worcester sauce. Why are you laughing?
It's a little bowl to get whisking in, dude. You're going to have to. I would use the whisk. I think it's going to be
Okay, maybe that's a good idea.
It looks beautiful. You want to almost do a time lapse, like an Instagram story with this.
Okay, so you want to whisk it. The reason you do this is so that you can get the sugar dissolving, because the last thing you want is to have a crunchy
and obviously, again,
marinade
it will have opportunity to break down in the storage process
as well.
But it's sweet, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's got the added health benefit of our canola oil as well. And the nice thing is when you've got this oil base in your marinade, it coats the meat with a slick of that oil. That's going to help the caramelization when you put it on a braai, or if you're cooking fast and hot.
All right, so you'll just whisk, get it all mixed in together. The keyword, again, is Be Well. SMS Be Well to 33728. We'll send you an SMS with the link, and you can learn how to make this yourself.
All right, in about 30 seconds, we're going to ramp it up to our final sauce, a chili marinade. We've got some gewone chili sauce here as well. If you've got one that you absolutely love the flavor profile of, just get it stuck in there. We've got some smoked paprika and some chili flakes.
Nice.
2 of my favorite things. Smoked chilies are all the rage at the moment. And understandably so. It just adds a beautiful kind of dimension, depth. We've got some tomato paste, so not tomato sauce, actual tomato paste there. We've got a little bit of our vinegar just to balance it out.
Yeah.
And as we saw with Tubbs there, a little bit of sugar as well, because you do need that balance of sweet. And then we're going to add our
to
B-well canola
neutralize
oil.
the flavors as well. A friend of mine asked me 2 weeks ago, why do we always use the B-well canola oil?
'Cause it's the best.
It is the best, but really is that it is the only cooking oil in South Africa that carries the Cancer Smart Choice seal, and this is because of the omega-6 to omega-3 ratio, 2:1, which is absolutely amazing. It's naturally cholesterol-free, fantastic, and it is, of course, a great velvety butter taste. That
Yeah, I was going
comes
to say, it's
with.
got a pretty cool flavor profile for sauces and things like that. And there
So
you
you're
have
mixing
it.
all of that together. Do you need this, maybe?
I like it. I like a bit of slick there as well from the oil. Absolutely amazing. So there you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, 3 very easy marinades that you can whip up ahead of the Braai weekend, ahead of a whole week's worth of cooking. Lasts up to 2 weeks, as you said. So thank you, Be Well, for leading the way with the addition of just a few staple ingredients you are taken from preparation to perfection in a few easy steps. And to get the recipe sent straight to your phone, all you got to do is SMS the keyword BeWell to 33728 and then play around, have a little bit of fun. You know your own flavors and what you like, what your family likes. You can throw in your own flavors, flours even. Let us know what you think. And yeah, please show us
BeWell
the end
canola,
results.
we love you. We love you. Is it nice?
Lovely stuff. 3 marinades, 3 ways for the Braai weekend.
Very interesting.
Good stuff, good stuff. Sis Princess, can I have another fresh cuppa, please?
Thank you, Princess.
But while you prepare that, what's on the menu for today?
It's fresh baked croissant.
Freshly baked croissants. And what are we adding on them? Do you have some extra
What would you normally add
cheese.
to
Yes.
a croissant?
cheese and jam?
Yeah.
Cheese and jam is
Ooh,
good.
that's always a winner.
By the way, so on Facebook, our post today is about the best dating advice you've ever received. So what's the best dating advice you've ever received since Princess?
Okay. My aunt told me that I never go to your phone's partner, and then you must trust yourself.
Oh, wow. There we go. That's a very good one. So trust yourself and never go to your partner's phone.
Yes.
That's a very good one. Put that in your timeline. Let's see how the streets react on that one. But I'd love to have a freshly baked croissant. Share those ideas with us and what is the best dating advice you've received. You can comment, of course, on that post on our Facebook page and on Twitter as well. #Expresso Show. But we're going to take... Yeah, that'll be yours. There's more in the oven. Yes. I'd love to have one, please.
Listen, I'm sorted. I'll stay right here.
Enjoy a moment in between with McCafe. See you after the break.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Oh, very good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to it. If you've only just tuned in, where have you been? You've missed out on so much. It's been an awesome start to the week. Of course, a bumper sporting weekend. Formula One headed into its sixth race of the season at the famed Monaco Grand Prix this weekend, with a couple of South African celebrities there watching. How they pulled that off, I don't know. But Lewis Hamilton, he enjoyed a pretty frantic afternoon in Monaco to show his class and secure the 77th win of his career. It's quite insane. And of course, his third in Monaco, finishing ahead of Ferrari Sebastian Vettel, which might surprise some, and his Mercedes teammate Valtteri Bottas, to talk us through all of that drama. And there was plenty of drama in Monte Carlo. Welcome our trusted Formula One, and you are trusted Formula One expert.
That's good.
Chiro, dude.
I was about to say, I think we pretty much figured out how those South African celebrities were able to make it in Monaco. Just different tax bracket than we are in.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
man.
They are in a
And they weren't even there like on a
They-
diet, like they were on their best life train.
The same tax bracket that Chiro's in. Basically.
Well, you know, Monaco is a tax haven, so maybe they're trying to get there.
You need to hook us up. But of course, I think a lot of the attention this weekend would have been, you know, the Formula One family focusing in on the legacy of Niki Lauda, Lewis Hamilton, of course, more specifically. What do you think the legend would have made of this?
It was so great to see the unity between the drivers. They were all wearing special hats for Niki, and Niki did win 2 of his championships with Ferrari. So I think if he was looking down and he saw Merck, which was his team when he died, and Ferrari, which was his team in his youth, he would have been pretty happy to see them both on the podium. So that one really was for Niki. As soon as Hamilton's team came over the radio, they said that one was for Niki. And it was an emotional weekend for Hamilton. You know, he was excused from his press duties so that he could mourn as well. So I have a feeling that backstage, Hamilton shed a couple of tears over this one. He really had to work for it.
Well, I was going to say, because, I mean, we love the razor-like focus where, you know, you see his true champions class come out, and he needed it. You said Monaco is tight. That might have been an advantage for him with the tyres deteriorating in the way that they were, but he needed to pull every trick out.
100%, you know, and there's a great quote by Nelson Piquet. He said, "To be honest with you, I hate Monaco. It's like riding a bicycle around your living room." It's a really tight circuit, and it's widely accepted that overtaking is just too risky. And I almost feel like I want to spend the whole segment talking about Charles Leclerc, because it was his first home Grand Prix, and it was a heartbreaking weekend for him, mostly because of an error by his team. But obviously the real story was up front, and this gets a little bit technical. It's a bit boring, but stay with me. So Formula One teams get a bunch of tires they can use, right? The hard tires are not as fast, but they last the longest. You can go the whole race. And this weekend proved that Mercedes is not infallible, because they had the chance to switch Lewis onto hards when the safety car came out. They left him on mediums, and the mediums degrade quicker. And that's why to the end of the race, he had no grip. And there are very few people in the world who can drive a Formula One car with no grip for 78
on a street circuit.
Yeah, and like you said, Monaco did help him, because on a normal circuit, he would have been eaten for breakfast, he would have had to pit, and he would have finished the race in 5th. But in Monaco, he could just close the door on every single driver, on every corner, drove a real champions race. He worked hard for this one. And I know if there's a lot of people out there who are not Hamilton fans, but he deserved this one.
Yeah. Would you say that was a bit of an experimentation in terms of like knowing the fact that if you qualify up front, like you said, it's very difficult to be overtaken by anyone. So applying that strategy of using the hard tires, knowing that they don't have as much grip and speed, that they were kind of experimenting to see where the car is then.
Yeah, Hamilton actually came on the radio and said, "I cannot believe you guys left me out on medium tires."
Yeah, exactly.
And just quickly, you know, this is Leclerc here. What happened was he went for a daring overtake down into the Rascasse corner. He hit the barriers. He actually pulled the overtake off twice before, so he was quite confident. This was also incredible.
Is that the touch?
That was an unsafe release by Red Bull. They let Verstappen run out into Bottas. Bottas got a puncture and had to re-pit, and that completely ruined his race as well. Although he still came 3rd. So
look at how tight.
He drove a great test. That was incredible. That gave Max Verstappen a 5-second penalty, and so he finished 2nd in the race on track, but he got pushed back to 4th, and that pushed the 2 Mercedes onto the podium as well.
Man,
So,
sounds like it was more action than we anticipated. The kind of drama you want to have.
That was the parking lot down at Rascasse.
I'm just picturing something.
That's, you know, he just needed a break. He's like, "Look, I'll be here. Let me just get this into reverse." So no, someone, forget that driver, but someone tapped him out. He spun, and then there was this really hilarious scene of
3-point turn. 17-point turn.
17-point turn.
So next up, we're heading to Canada.
Yeah, Canada, Montreal, fantastic circuit. Good old school circuit. There's been some incredible racing there in the past.
There will be overtaking.
Yeah, there will be some overtaking. And an interesting thing about Canada, actually, is they've got this thing called the Wall of Champions, where pretty much every champion has crashed into it. So,
Oh, is that why it's given that name?
so it's got that nickname. Yeah, it's a great circuit.
Fantastic. Well, we look forward to having you back again, Chiro. We look forward to the next of the big races in this Formula One season, which is proving to be quite interesting, even for those casual viewers that we were talking about last week.
Get up Formula One,
Absolutely.
Come on.
Ah, well, listen, the thrill of the Premium League in motorsport, that's Formula One racing, is coming to the Mother City, and it's this Sunday, the 2nd of June. And the Red Bull Cape Town circuit is bringing South African fans the chance to witness the thundering power of a Formula One car in all its glory. It's taking place at the Grand Parade. This free event will see tens of thousands of motor enthusiasts experiencing F1 legend David Coulthard, putting his mechanical beast through its paces.
Now, this is really exciting because Red Bull and Expresso are very excited to announce that we are giving one lucky viewer the opportunity to win this experience of a lifetime. If you simply SMS the keyword WIN along with your name and city to 33728, you will be entered into a random draw to win a set of double Friends of Red Bull tickets, which includes dedicated parking at the venue, complimentary drinks and food, the best spot from which to catch all of the action with a view of the pit area, and the chance to walk the track before the event even starts. All of this to the value of 1,950 Rand.
That is a VIP experience of note. So feel the adrenaline and exhilaration of hearing the ear-splitting roar of the engine, squint through the haze of the tire smoke, and of course smell the aroma of burning rubber. Give yourself the opportunity to enjoy a unique Friends of Red Bull experience that's at the Red Bull Cape Town Circuit F1 Extravaganza this coming Sunday, the 2nd of June. Enter our competition by simply SMSing the keyword WIN with your name and city to 33728. The competition will close at 9 a.m. this Friday, the 31st of May, and entries are limited to residents of Cape Town. So SMSs will cost you R1.50, and free SMSs unfortunately do not apply, but those T's and C's, they're available at our website. You can find them at expressoshow.com.
It's going to be an extravaganza.
Smell the engines. It's an add to cart kind of day. Win your share of 1 million Rand with Manhattan iced tea. Buy any Manhattan 500ml or 1.5 litre promotional pack, redeem your code under the label and earn your virtual Manhattan dollars. Shop online in April and May at shopmanhattanstyle.co.za to be entered into the grand prize draw of a shopping spree at Sandton City. The winner will be announced on 5FM's Djibouti show in June. Ready, set, shop.
The makeup on the shirt. Do you believe his stories? You know that there are lies. Sad as you are, you stick around, and I just don't know why. I want you in, baby, you never worry about what I do. I'll be coming home back to you every night, doing you right. You're the type of one, deserve good things. Fist full of dimes, hand full of rings. Baby, you're a star. I just want to show you you are.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to it. It is your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso, live right here on SABC3 on this beautiful Monday morning, the start of a brand new week, and hopefully you are getting all of that feel-good going. Riaz Arense is in the house. Of course, also later on, relationship chats with Dr. Eve. Right now, though, it's time for the news.
Thank you, Tabiso. Well, here's a quick and final look at your headlines. The presidency has announced and issued a statement saying that President Cyril Ramaphosa's cabinet announcement will not be made today, but later this week. And former police minister Becky Cele has thanked law enforcement officers for delivering a safe and secure presidential inauguration ceremony at Loftus Versfeld Stadium on Saturday. He said the discipline from members was commendable, and he encouraged them to keep up the momentum to ensure South Africans are and feel safe. We now move to news abroad, where 4 Chadian soldiers and a television reporter were killed when their vehicle hit a mine on a road in eastern Chad. 23 Boko Haram members were killed in an ensuing skirmish. And a volcano erupted on the Indonesian island of Bali on Saturday, sending ash into the sky over surrounding villages and lava pouring down its sides. No casualties were reported. And finally, action movie superstar 72-year-old Sylvester Stallone told the cinemagoers in Cannes on Friday that he never expected to make it in the film industry due to an accident at birth that caused him to slur his words. He said that when he was starting out, his speech impediment had stumped filmmakers and even fellow actors, such as Terminator star Arnold Schwarzenegger. Stallone said he knew it was bad when Schwarzenegger said, "You have an accent." Stallone's snarl and slurred speech are now among his widely recognized signatures that are accepted for his muscular physique. The actor was given a rapturous welcome as he arrived for Friday's event. He greeted the crowd with a very loud yo. And that's where we leave your morning headlines. Let's take a final look at your sport.
Your wagering. Let's get into those cricketing results, or at least a lack thereof. Yesterday's Cricket World Cup warm-up match between South Africa and the West Indies in Bristol was abandoned because of rain, with only 12.4 overs of play possible. In rugby, Fiji have top honours. They've now won back-to-back London Sevens titles for the first time after a comfortable 43-7 win over Australia at Twickenham. That, of course, happened yesterday while South Africa crashed out in the quarterfinals to Australia. And in motorsports, a reigning Formula One champion Lewis Hamilton soaked up the pressure in Monte Carlo to win the Monaco Grand Prix. And of course, following the death of his dear friend and race legend Niki Lauda. That's a wrap of your sport for this morning.
Thank you, Graham. Let's take a final look at your roads this morning. We start off in Germiston out in Gauteng on the N3 northbound. There has been a multi-vehicle accident after the Airlands interchange, which is obstructing the right lane. Please do approach with caution this morning. And off to the Western Cape in Century City, there has been an accident on the N1 inbound before the Plattekloof Road. The right lane is currently blocked and causing heavy delays over there. And off to the train lines, the T0517 train from Cape Town to Heathfield is cancelled, and this is due to sets out of service. So please do allow for additional travel time this morning. That's where we leave it for now. Here's a final look at your weather with Kat.
Don't fear the flu. Boost your immune system with Effaflu C Immune Booster by Pharmadynamics. Effective, affordable healthcare.
Well, with this final weather update, let's say a big thank you to Lynn Haupt, who sent us a sunrise picture from Forest Hill in KZN, a stunning looking one, as well as Sam Cross, who sent us a spectacular skyline from Durban. Much appreciated, guys. Please keep those photos coming in. We love sharing them with the country at the start of a brand new day. But let's take a look at temperatures around the country, beginning in Polokwane, your minimum of 6 and maximum of 23, while in Mbombela can expect temperatures ranging between 8 and 25. In Pretoria, 9 to 23, while Johannesburg can experience partly cloudy conditions. 7 and 21 are your temperature ranges. Moving on over to the Northwest Province, Mahikeng 7 to 24, Klerksdorp 7 to 23. In Kimberley, the Northern Cape 9 to 23, while you can expect a very cold start to the morning in Bloemfontein. Minimum temperature 6 and a maximum of 21. The highest temperatures in the country can be found in Richards Bay, ranging between 14 and 27 degrees Celsius. Pietermaritzburg 12 and 27, while high humidity will be the order of the day in Durban. Durban, and temperatures there ranging between 20 and 25. In Mthatha, 13 and 26. East London, 14 to 23. Partly cloudy conditions in Craddock, and a minimum of 9 and maximum of 23. A southwesterly wind of 28 kilometers per hour can be expected in Port Elizabeth, and temperatures ranging between 13 and 20, while George can expect some heavy rainfall and temperatures ranging between 11 and 17. So quite chilly there. The lowest temperatures in the country, though, can be seen in Sutherland between 6 and 16, while a southeasterly wind of about 30 kilometers per hour in Cape Town can be expected, and temperatures ranging between 12 and 18. Heavy rainfall in Worcester, and temperatures ranging between 10 and 17 degrees Celsius, while Springbok can expect a low of 8 and a high of 22, and rounding things off in Uppington, those temperatures ranging between 11 and 25. But here's to hoping you have a fantastic day no matter what the weather looks like in your part of the country. In fact, if it's turning out a little bit on the low side, let's uplift your mood a little bit. Niaz Aronsa, our guest artist this morning, performing right now a cover of Mario's Let Me Love You.
Baby, I just don't get it. Do you enjoy getting hurt? I know you smell the perfume, the makeup on his shirt. Do you believe his stories? You know that there are lies. Sad as you are, you stick around, and I just don't know why. If I was your man, baby, you never worry about what I do. I'll be coming home back to you every night, doing you right. You're the type of one, serve good things, fist full of diamonds, hand full of rings. Baby, you're a star. I just wanna show you you are. You should let me love you. Let me be the one to give you everything you want and need. Oh, baby, good love and protection. Make me your selection. Show you where the love's supposed to be. Oh, baby, you should let me love you. Yeah, love you. Listen, your true beauty's descriptive. It's so good that it hurts. You're a dime. It's not a dime and it's a shame. Don't even know what you bring. Everywhere you go, you stop and stare, 'cause you're bad if it shows. From your head to your toes, out of control, baby, you know. Baby, you, what I do, I'll be coming home back to you every night. That you're doing you right. You're the type of woman, serve good things, fist full of diamonds.
Doing the things. Very nice, man. Very good. Great way to start the day. Also, we've been asking people on social media, on our Facebook page, about the best dating advice they have received. What's the best dating advice you've
The best
received?
dating advice I've received is from my parents. They've been married for 42 years.
Give
it up, Mom and Dad. So a happy wife equals a happy life. That's the best advice I've received.
So they told you that about dating already?
Yes, because the aim is to get married. You date to find someone you love so that you can get married. So
the man is hey. Dropping gems on a Monday morning like you never heard before, straight from the parents' mouth, man. But listen, thank you very much for the music. We look forward to one more performance a little bit later on. Make sure that you do not miss out on that. But let's give it up one more time. The band, Niaz, doing the things, man.
Science reaches for the truth. It works for the big and small, for the old and young. And with knowledge as our first ingredient, science is at the heart of our food. For differences you can see, feel, and trust. It all starts with science.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Well, welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's time for Relationship Talks. Dr. Eve, she is back in the house.
Hey, Dr. Eve is back. Yes, yes.
And many of you know that our relationship expert, Dr. Eve, she's an acclaimed clinical sexologist. So when it comes to educating people about intimacy, sex and sexuality, she has some of the best knowledge on how to do so. This is crucial to consider when it comes to teaching our own children about these things, as we want to ensure that we give them the tools to have healthy sexual lifestyles when they are adults. So today we are asking the question, what is the best way to introduce sexuality to your children, and how did you tell your children about the birds and the bees? Dr. Eve is here, and of course our lines are open to discuss this hot topic, and we'd love to hear from you, so feel free if you have questions or comments. Our number is open. It's 021 430 9881.
All right, great start. Dr. Eve, great to have you back indeed.
So nice to be here,
And looking
Claire.
forward to picking your brain. So let's talk about what
Yeah.
sex education looked like in the past, especially when it comes to how children encountered it for the very first time.
Yeah, sexuality education is part of the life orientation curriculum. It has to be taught to every single child. And usually what they're taught is around prevention. So it's an abstinence-based approach,
Yes.
like don't.
Yes.
And if you do, then you're going to get into trouble. So it's quite negative, sex negative, and quite scary. So most kids, if you ask them, like, what did you learn about in sex ed when you were at school? And I could even ask you too, because you two went through a curriculum of sorts. Not in my day,
It's quite
but
weird
in your
because
day,
when I
right?
think back, it was one because I was in an all-boys school as well. That class didn't even go very far. It was about the teacher explaining to us how to put on protection.
Right.
Using the banana as they do.
Oh, really?
And then that kind of just ended there. There was never a complete discussion about this is what happens when you do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Teachers, I think, also are afraid of engaging
you absolutely
in that.
hit the nail on the head, which is why it only goes to a certain point where they feel comfortable and then it stops.
Yeah.
And where do they feel comfortable? Which is giving just didactic information around HIV/AIDS and around unintended pregnancy, teenage pregnancy, how not to do those kind of things.
Yeah. I'm thinking
go
now,
ahead,
we never
Zoe.
did any of the practicals. I think it was grade 5 when we had the birds and the bees, and all the kids were giggling because we kind of had an idea of, you're asking, you're inquisitive, you ask your parents, you discuss among your friends. So it was awkward.
It's absolutely awkward. So I'm happy to say that life orientation has changed and sexuality education has changed tremendously over the years, where now the focus is on things called values. What are your values? Teaching children how to think critically. And I really want our viewers to be aware that their children are not going to be exposed to sexual information as such. It's really teaching your child how to think, how to make decisions, how to be aware of something called consent, which is a really important issue to be thinking about, boundaries, my body, your body, what feels comfortable, what doesn't feel comfortable. It's about engaging healthily in an activity which is pleasurable and which also produces children. So it's finding that balance in sexuality education between saying we're not encouraging children to be sexual at an early age, but we're also not saying that abstinence is the way to go, because we know that children are sexual. So how do we find that balance? And it's something called comprehensive sexuality education, which is teaching children, we do not want you to be sexual earlier than what you should be, and we can debate what that is. But we also want you to be completely informed around what sexuality is, because what research has told us is if you do not give children information, they are at higher risk of HIV/AIDS, unintended pregnancies, and regret sex.
All right. Well, we're going to hold you just on that, comprehensive understanding of this topic, and a very important one as well. So the question is, what is the best way to introduce sexuality to your children? How do you tell them about the birds and the bees? And I wish we could stop calling it that. Maybe
I do too.
let's get rid of that.
Yeah.
Stop calling it the birds and the bees. Call it sex education. But we'd
Thank
love to
you.
hear from you. Your questions and comments are very, very welcome onto our social media platforms. Go onto Facebook, and we'll take those as soon as possible with Dr. Eve.
This must be a difficult one and a tricky one for a parent to wrap their heads around, right?
Very much so. I think having a boy child, I think, makes it slightly easier. At least that's the preconception. But the key thing here, let's talk about sex, baby. We've got to make it a conversation that you can actually have. But of course, before we get to that stage of a relationship, you need to start a relationship. You need to find a relationship. You need to get out there and play the dating game. And maybe you've received a gem of advice when it comes to the dating. What's your best piece of dating advice that you've got?
I think take it easy. That's the best one. I've been told, take it easy. Sometimes people just are so involved in the crave for a relationship that they just rush things. When they don't work out, they're disappointed.
Are you a bit full on in the dating space?
I mean, I'm full on. I'm in a full-on committed relationship. But this is my advice to anyone who is getting into that relationship
Just be
space
yourself,
and the dating space, to take it easy, take your time.
So what gems have we received?
Well, we've received lots of them here on social media. Here's Buntle Mufugeng saying, good morning. Best dating advice I received is to love and support your partner. Never let friends come in your relationship. Never touch your partner's phone without his or her permission. Treat them with respect and be loyal to them, and always communicate with your partner. Stay blessed. Shireen says, good morning. My family, good morning, family. My belated grandfather told me if a guy you date takes you home to his family and you see the way he treats his mom, you'll know if that is the guy for you. If you respect her, he will respect you. Best advice ever.
I love that. We can actually drop mic, leave stage now. Boom.
We're back again with Dr. Eve for our relationship talk on this Monday, and we're talking about sex education and conversations around sexuality, safe sex, etc., and when to introduce this topic to your children. And I think that's maybe a good point, a good time to start off this part of the conversation.
Yes.
When is the right time
Yes.
to talk to your children about sexuality, about sex, safe sex, and everything that we're trying to cover right now?
It's never a right time. There is never a time, Kat, when you sit down with a child and say, okay, let's talk about sex right now. You weave it into the conversation. So it starts from the moment that a child is born. the moment that you start touching that child, engaging with that child's body, by complimenting them, making them feel that they are valuable, that their bodies are special, the way that you touch them safely, the way that you engage with them in a beautiful, pleasurable way, that you let them know that they are valuable, and so they begin to feel a pride. Now, if we begin to feel pride and value our bodies, we will then be very mindful about who we allow into our personal physical space. And as children become more curious and they start asking about how do we fall pregnant, or how do I have, how do I have a baby, or somebody's pregnant at school, a mommy's pregnant, you always ask them, well, what do you know about it? So you don't over-inform them, and you just answer their questions directly, whatever they bring into you. And then we begin to use what's called teachable moments as they get older, and they're exposed to social media and to television, and they start listening to music, that they then begin to inquire about the world, where they see situations, and that's where the values come in. So they may be watching something on television and they'll see like two mommies kissing, two women kissing, and they don't understand that. And then you bring in the idea of love and different forms of relationship. Or they see at school that there is a single mommy with one child, and then you talk about different relationship structures, that families are different, they're not all the same. And so you weave into their lives the different elements of what makes up a healthy sexual life as adults. And then you talk to them about love and about their friendships. So when they come and they say, oh, I'm having a fight with this person at school, that person's jealous, or I'm kissing that boy at school, you talk about it in that moment around that experience that that child's having, about, well, what does love feel like for you? At an early age, children fall in love at early ages. You weave in their personal experiences and you bring your values into it. You can say like, well, in our family, we only like that we kiss people that we really are very fond of, or we only allow people to touch us that we know. And so you weave it in. It's not a sit down and let's do a birds and bees conversation.
It happens organically. And I love that you say it's these teachable moments.
Teachable moments.
Now, you also mentioned, Dr. Eve, that when kids ask you questions, you answer them directly. So for parents that have experienced or will be experiencing those unexpected questions that their kids might have to ask around sexuality, how can you answer them directly without, sometimes people like to bend the truth or tell a little bit of a lie when it comes to the uncomfortable topics.
Right, so the first thing I always do, I run workshops for parents to get them to be comfortable with their own sexuality. Because if you're not comfortable with your own sexuality, there's no ways that you can engage with your children as well. So one of the first things that parents come across is their children playing with themselves or playing doctor with their friends, and they get such a fright that they say, this is bad, let's separate you, don't be doing this with each other. And they don't realize that this is just a very natural, curious developmental stage that children must go through. And you interrupt them and you say, let's just distract you, let's go and get a lollipop or something. And you put some rules in place. You say, well, we just don't ever insert things into different parts of the body, and you just give them a lesson in that moment around how to be honoring your body and somebody else's body. And you don't scare them off or punish them or put them into a corner, lock them up in a bedroom when you find that they are just exploring themselves or exploring with each other. You put a boundary up and you recognize that there is an innocence around it.
We're going to take a break and just try and digest what it is that we've heard. And I think a lot of what I'm getting from Dr. Eve and what we've been saying here is that there's confusion around the language that we use, especially where parents become very tongue-tied and don't know how to say the word. So let's take a break. When we come back, we'll be back again with Dr. Eve, further engaging in this topic.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to it. It is your Good Breakfast Show, Expresso, live right here on SABC3 on a Monday morning, and we've got Dr. Eve in the building. We're discussing having a very important conversation around introducing the chat around sex to your children and sex education, as it were.
Yeah, so to set the scene, to set the tone for this discussion, Dr. Eve on her platform was asking this question, put the poll up there. She's keen to know if you think that sexuality or education or sex ed is necessary for your school children. And it's quite interesting what you guys have said. 9% not necessary, 11% saying it's dangerous. Would love to hear the qualifying comments there as well.
Yeah.
But a very vast majority of 80% saying very necessary. And I love the way she put that, not just necessary, but very necessary.
Yeah.
And I think, unfortunately, the reality is, as much as this could make you uncomfortable, it is necessary. But how do you do that? When do you do that? Those are questions that become very personal. And that's exactly what we are focusing on right now with Dr. Eve.
Yeah, we're back again with Dr. Eve. And the question that's been kind of swirling around is, what is it that we need to change? As a society, and it's a very broad question, and probably addressing how things are done at school as well, and those teachable moments that we were talking about that happen between family members, a father and a son, a mother and a daughter, or whichever way that family is constructed. What do we need to change in order to begin better equipping our children for their futures? Because this does determine the future.
Yeah, I'm always enormously surprised still, and I don't know why, because I've been doing this for 25 years. Of why people have such an issue around sexuality. I mean, we should have more of an issue around violence and what our children are doing.
We're a conservative country, Dr. Eve, let's be honest. We are a conservative
nation. The whole world, actually.
Yeah, most parts of the world.
Most parts of the world are really. But you know, what is it? This is something which teaches people how to connect with each other, which gives people an enormous amount of intimacy and pleasure. And what we most seek in the world is connection. You know, the biggest disease in the world right now is loneliness and depression. And we know that one of the ways of overcoming loneliness and depression is through connecting. So sexuality is about connecting. We're using our genitals sometimes to be able to do that. And so what's wrong with that? As long as we are using healthy ways of using our genitals to be sexually engaging with someone. But really, we mostly seek out connection because we want to feel loved and we want to feel appreciated and we want to feel acknowledged. And that's the way that we create humanity.
Yeah.
So I'm always surprised about how people are so afraid of this thing called sexuality.
So I guess changing the idea and the perception that sex is about connection, which is a fundamental human requirement of existence.
Absolutely. And young people seek it out from very young. We want to feel those feelings.
Connected.
Connected.
And do you think age appropriateness is also something that people are a little bit hesitant with? I mean, if you look at the school curriculum, I mean, they need to factor that in when it comes to the conversations, but also at what age, like we've discussed it earlier, like at what age do you start introducing this topic to your kid?
Well, Zoe, look at our school learner today. We've got an incredible variety and diversity of school learners. We've got many kids who come into the school system who do not have a regular nuclear family, who are raising kids on their own, who are mothers from an early age, who have engaged with their own sexuality already. And so what is age appropriateness? Who decides on that? That at age 8 we can only talk about that, at age 10 we can only talk about that. So I think it's important that we thread the principles of sexuality throughout the school curriculum, which is, again, respect of self, respect of others, consenting, tolerance of diversity, being aware that there is no binary model of gender, of sexual orientation, of tolerance of everybody. And the diversity of what human beings are. And those are the principles and the messages that have to be extended all the way through. So starting from very young, when you have a friend who's a little bit different to you, how do we tolerate that? How do we deal with conflict? Because that's what sexuality is as well. If you think about adult sexuality, it's like one person wants to be sexual, the other one doesn't want to be sexual. That can lead to conflict. So from early on, you teach them skills of negotiation. So when they get into adult relationships, they know how to negotiate around things that are difficult, which means feeling sexual, and the other one doesn't feel sexual. It's an ongoing process. And we also want to remember, very, very much, you know, you ask Kat what's different today, is social media and pornography. So young people are being exposed from age 9 there's I was at a meeting in Toronto recently. There is evidence that shows that young people from age 9 are exposed to pornography, right? They're watching pornography. And most of them are learning about sexuality from pornography. Wow. Now, that's pretty horrific.
Absolutely.
And us as South Africans have got to take note of that.
Yeah.
And say, we at school and as parents have got to fill that gap.
All right, well, let's just pause the conversation for a brief few minutes, and we'll be back again with Dr. Eve.
There's a glass and a half in every one.
We are absolutely loving this campaign, and we've only just begun. Cadbury Dairy Milk shines the light on the generosity that lives inside every single one of us. So we encourage all South Africans out there to bring your old toys to any of their pop-up little generosity shops. It'll look exactly like this. And of course, you can receive a slab of Cadbury Dairy Milk chocolate on us. To get these shopping centres and the dates on the screen right now, right from May through August, we can go out and inspire a little more Cadbury goodness in the world.
Absolutely, I absolutely love it. And the Cadbury Dairy Milk is bringing the Little Generosity Shop to Johannesburg, Durban and Cape Town. So join them in spreading their generosity and donate a toy, or visit cadburyglassandahaf.co.za for more information. Also, follow them on Facebook at Cadbury Dairy Milk SA or Cadbury_SA on Twitter and Instagram with the hashtags #glassandahaf and #the Little Generosity Shop to keep up to date with how and where you can donate your pre-loved toys.
Yeah, man, and give a little story behind that toy, or maybe get your child to donate an old toy that they no longer need so they can be a part of that act of generosity. The Little Generosity Shop is an opportunity for all of us to be just better human beings.
There's a glass and a half in every one.
All right, we're back again with Dr. Eve, and we're discussing sexuality, healthy sex conversations with your children, how to introduce the topic. And I think one of the biggest points of contention is when it comes to culture.
Yeah.
People attach a lot of value to their culture and their background and how they were raised. So how then do you frame this conversation within your cultural background and its significance?
Yeah, I totally, as you know, Kat, I totally believe in what's called cultural competence, and there has to be a respectfulness for what that culture dictates around sexuality. At the same time, one cannot ignore the caretaking of children by providing them with information, the correct information. They can then add on their cultural layers or their cultural values or their own cultural principles. But I think in every single culture, there is the same humanity that we have to practice in sexuality, which is, I'm repeating, no judgment, respect of self, respect of others, bodily integrity, respect and pride in one's own body, and consent. Very, very important to understand how do we work with consent when we're working with the other. Being aware that there is going to be contentiousness around stuff like gender diversity, sexual orientation fluidity. That's going to be very difficult in different cultures, for sure. So we want to respect that, and schools and parents have to accept that there is this diversity. I'm going to come back to social media because this is such an imperative thing that we have to factor in, that our children are being taught via Facebook and social media and pornography, I repeat. And if we do not step in, that is what they think is normal and healthy sexuality, and it's not.
You're basically allowing somebody else to have that conversation with them.
And an unhealthy conversation, because pornography is not what sexuality is about. It's people who are acting in a play and in roles, and children watch that and think that's what real sexuality is about, because nobody's come in and told them anything different. And so they begin engaging or disengaging from people because they feel too awkward and afraid that they can't perform in the same way as porn characters do, and that their friends on social media are saying that they're behaving, which is nonsense.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Eve, how often should a parent, a caregiver, a guardian, or you know, the adult check in to see where the growing child is at in terms of their knowledge and understanding about what's going on around them?
Yeah, so I think it's important that they keep involved in their world, so generally. And the most important thing is that a child can come and talk to a parent. That's the most important thing, is to keep open lines of communication, and that a parent is aware, and I'm absolutely empathetic that parents are struggle just to kind of keep themselves going every day. But to be able to be checking in on your child's world, so you notice, my child is a little distracted, my child is depressed, there is such a high incidence of teen suicide, for example. Children are at high risk because of loneliness, because social media has brought so much more loneliness into their life. You want to be aware of what's going on with your child. And the child can say, I feel like I'm being abused by my boyfriend, I'm in a relationship of sorts, or I've been ghosted by somebody, or I'm chatting with somebody online, I'm not really sure how old or what the age is, so that they can talk to you and that you're able to constantly intervene.
Yeah. That's some great advice over there. Unfortunately, that's all the time that we have. But we do have time to ask you, Dr. Eve, about the best dating advice you've ever received.
I remember my mother saying to me, if I would say, I really don't want to go on a date with that person, she'd have to go because he may have very, very nice friends.
No!
So I went on many dates I didn't want to go on because he may have nice friends that I could then meet.
Wow.
That's sweet.
Wow.
That's some really good
Always
dating
keep
advice.
that window of opportunity open.
Yeah.
Of course, it is very important as we conclude our discussion to seek opportunities to be a go-to parent who uses teachable moments to educate your children on everything that we've been talking about, becoming healthy, being forward-thinking, and most importantly, being well-informed about sexual habits and how to go about that as you enter that phase of your life. But as always, Dr. Eve, we'll do this again. Thank you very, very much. See you next week.
So nice to be here.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Clover Fresh Milk is the #1 milk brand in SA, made with love by Clover.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Happy Monday to you, and thanks for joining us. We're about to make a delicious treat that I'm actually quite surprised, because earlier on when I was referring to it, cheese rolls, I was thinking of a completely different picture. But these, look at this. They're cheesy, they're doughy, oh so easy to make. Clover deep fried cheese rolls. They might just be the next indulgent snack that you've been craving this winter. And here to show us exactly how our cheesy delights are made for this winter, of course, Chef Tash Geleba. Great to have you with us, my queen.
And I'm
These
also
look
here
amazing.
just to play assistant really and learn how to make these, because what is a winter without magwina?
Oh, yes.
What is it? You know what I mean?
Cheese magwina.
Our
Cheese
downfall.
magwina
Our downfall.
All right.
Very, very easy. So we've got our Clover Classic fat spread there, which is very nice for baking. It's very nice for cooking. It's very nice for using for scrambled eggs and everything.
A source of 10 vitamins too.
Oh, yes, yes, definitely. So we've got about a kg of flour. You always put salt in to activate the taste of anything. And we've got yeast here, about 1 packet of yeast.
All right.
We've got lukewarm milk here.
All right.
So what you're going to do for me is to put in the yeast in there.
Inside the milk.
Inside the milk,
Yeast
so
first
that we
in milk.
activate.
Why is it important for the milk to be lukewarm?
It's actually very important for it to be lukewarm, not cold, not hot. When it's hot, it kills the yeast. When it's cold, it doesn't actually activate the yeast. So you need it for it to munyal, to ferment.
Yes, because yeast is a living organism.
Mix it all up together and make sure that you incorporate your salt in your flour so that the salt doesn't kill the yeast, because if you just put it in there, it kills the yeast.
There's so much war happening. It's like China and America in your bowl.
Let me actually use this. So this needs to be at room temperature. It needs to be soft. We're using about 45 grams of the butter, which is about, give or take, about 2 tablespoons. And that is going to give that beautiful,
creamy
nice, creamy
taste that takes you back.
You know, there's a difference when you bake with fat and when there's no fat. When there's a little bit of fat, that water, it sort of dissolves and it creates air in your bake. So you are going to have a beautiful bake. Please pour that in for me.
In there?
Slowly now.
Yeah, well, the key word to this, if you want the recipe and you want to make this, get involved, is SMS Clover to 33728. That's Clover to 33728. We'll send you an SMS with a link. You'll get the recipe and you'll get making this
Thank
delicious.
you so much. Please do the work.
Why is yeast so sensitive? Like, what? Why? Every single time we work with yeast, you get told you've got to feed the yeast. You've got to be gentle with it. Don't be too hot. Don't be too cold with it. It's such a sensitive ingredient.
Do you know
but I guess that's why the final product of whatever yeast is involved in, whether it's magwenya or bread, is always so delicious. Because when you work right with it,
how do you tell when it's ready once you've mixed all of these things together?
You need to incorporate it so that your dough is sort of, it doesn't stick to your hands. If you can see here, it's not sticking. And you need to prove it. So in winter, your bread proves quite slowly. So you need to just time it. We normally say an hour. So in winter, give or take, it's about 2 hours. I normally put mine on a hot water bottle.
Okay.
Do you have to use such big words on a Monday? Incorporate. You have to incorporate.
It's Monday.
Incorporate.
Let me use my English, please.
Okay, so you now flattened it.
We've flattened it. We've got dough. So what you can do is to roll this out for easy ball shaping. Then you are going to put this Clover cheese. It's cheddar. You can use any cheese you want. Clover has got a nice array of cheeses. So it depends which one you want.
Each of those strength indicators to show you how strong that particular cheese is. And then fold it inwards, close it up.
Close it up nice and tightly. You can let this prove once again. So leave it, cover it for about another 30 minutes.
Because then you get the size.
Yes, you get the size.
And is it totally up to you how big you go with the ball of the dough?
Well, as long as it's going to cover your cheese, you can do mini ones, you can do bigger ones. But you know that this is going to prove once again, and then it's going to become bigger. So it depends on what size you want. So one other important thing is to have your oil nice and hot. It must not be too hot, because these are going to brown on the outside and they're going to burn. Please do the honors for me.
So you want the process of browning on the outside as well as cooking through so that you don't have a raw center.
Do I just throw it in?
Yeah, there we go. So listen, we're going to let that do its thing. You can see the bubbliness, sizzlingness happening over there. And
I'm
while
always
we do
nervous
that,
around the oil and throwing anything in. This is always me.
Don't do that. Then the oil might actually splash into your hand over there. So rather drop it in gently. But while we do that, let's quickly take a look at how we made this recipe.
Do you use this?
Once
Indulge your winter cravings with these delicious Clover deep-fried cheese rolls. Tasty as a snack with a dipping sauce or as a side to your favorite soup. Either way, it's time to get cheesy. Add 10 grams of salt and 1 sachet of instant yeast to 1 kilogram of bread flour. Add 45 grams of Clover Classic Fat Spread. Add half a litre of lukewarm Clover fresh full cream milk. Then mix everything together to form a dough and set aside to double in size for an hour. Next, fold a cube of Clover cheddar cheese in the middle of small dough balls and leave to double in size again. Carefully deep fry the balls and watch them transform into rolls. Remove from the hot oil and drain on kitchen paper. Go on, don't be a cheese ball. Spread the winter love and treat your family to these Clover deep-fried cheese rolls.
Made with love by Clover.
I just thought about this right now. By the way, SMS Clover to 33728 to get the link to the recipe as well as the ingredients list. This could be a new recipe for all those paza shops.
Yeah.
That sell amagwenya, especially for winter. Now you make your cheesy center amagwenya. Imagine your customers.
And you charge more for that as well, obviously.
You don't even need to buy ipoloni or anything else. You just go for it and it oozes out.
I remember like school days, especially during winter. With like 5 rand, and that'll get you like at least magwenya 20. Now imagine just trying this for lunch. I need to taste this. May I?
Please.
I'm gonna just grab this one right off the bat. Oh, look at that. It's warm. The cheese is oozing.
Can you see the texture is different because of the butter and the milk?
Come on. This is so good. High five. Chef Tash Geleba with the things that make the magwenya to be cheesy in the center. Yo, middle center.
Clover Fresh Milk is the #1 milk brand in SA, made with love by Clover.
Oh man, I can't believe our floor manager just shouted. Lucian just shouted right now, don't bring them food.
Ooh,
That's
we're not
so
allowed
rough.
Food. We're not allowed
That's
food.
so
right?
rough, man.
They're
I
eating
can
it
hear you. I
all
can
in the
hear you
dark.
chewing even. Oh man.
Well, listen, it's
tough.
time for us to now just focus our attention on our Mandela Monday hero. And when it comes to superheroes, in South Africa, they don't necessarily wear capes.
Nope.
They come in all shapes and sizes and age. And this morning, we're focusing on a young man from Gordons Bay.
Not even 10 years old yet. When he saw a problem, he united with his grandma and they met it head on. He now has a flourishing soup kitchen. Let's meet our Mandela Monday hero.
Establishing a soup kitchen is only one of Joshua Roos's many great deeds. He's raised funds to repair a foster home, collected treats to spoil the elderly, and pursues his initiatives tirelessly.
My motivation for starting the soup kitchen was to make the world a better place and to help people in need of food and houses. So I saw people scratching in bins. I still see it every day, and people that's very hungry. Today, we are just gonna give some kids some pizza, some cupcakes, and cold drink, and they're gonna play pat-pat. All the kids are actually from the community in need, but I've become good friends with most of them.
I am a very, very proud grandmother because he is doing a brilliant job. He's academically in school, he's doing very good at sport, and then the soup kitchen. I mean, this is a little boy that I feel was put on earth for a reason. And I will, as long as it's in my power, I will support him. Since the first day, Joshua ran into my room asking me to help him to feed hungry kids. I just saw something that is very serious about it, and I listened to him. And since that very first day, every single project, he's bringing the ideas, and I just had to work out the logistics behind it. And every single one was a success. As long as it's in his heart and telling me what he wants to do, we will keep on doing it.
Toe ek vir Joshua die eerste keer ontmoet by sy eerste funksie was, het ek gesien hoe Joshua inspireer 'n mens se harte en soos iemand is wat in hulle harte beweeg. Joshua is 'n goeie mens gewees en hy was baie liefdevol. Hy het by sy tweede funksie vir 'n kind wat met sy oë probleme het 'n Bybel gegee en ek het gesien dat Joshua reg is om vir so 'n hartmoedige seun te wees. Vir die rede wat hy 9 is ek baie trots op hom en dat hy verder in sy lewe sy droom sal volg.
To keep our soup kitchen alive and keep it going, we'll need donations and we'll need to find people to just help us with it and we'll need a lot of food. I'm very proud and it makes me feel very happy if kids have a smile on their face and they're not hungry anymore. It makes me feel very happy.
Living with his gran who supports them on her pension, Joshua does all of this and more with donations. All assistance is welcome via Joshua's Soup Kitchen Facebook page.
So basically everyone's had a bite of our deep fried cheesy rolls except me. So I'm going to inquire with my princess. What's for breakfast? What are you making? I can smell something.
Chocolate muffins.
Ooh.
Yeah, baby, please can we have 2? I'll treat you.
Okay.
My treat. It's on me.
It's your treat. It's on
me.
Graham today. How special. Well, listen, we still have more music coming from Niaz Arden. So he's with us on your Feel Good Breakfast show while Princess serves those muffins. We're going to take a quick break. Go refill your coffee cups. We'll see you in just a bit. Thank you, Princess.
Cheesy
Enjoy a moment in between with McCafe. See you after the break.
Here we go.
When I'm looking at you, keep thinking, why can't she be like you? So I'm scheming, I can go on like this, believing that her love is true. Oh, standing on the dance floor, she tricking. You are all I want, girl. She's a chicken. We might be together. Love is missing. Girl, I want you. So what we gon' do? Girl, if it's alright, let's go somewhere to get it on tonight. I gotta go, but you look good tonight. It's on tonight.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Well, we connect with you on social media and Facebook. In fact, we're connecting with you. We want to know from you, what's the best dating advice you've received? We've been tapping onto this post the whole morning, checking out all of the comments that's been coming through, and we want to share some more with you. We received one from Larato that says, best dating advice I received is lots of love and support, respect, understanding with good communication. That was the blessing from God, a loving partner indeed. Isabella shares with us saying, best advice would be to respect one another, but also never allow a man to control you, as it will follow through into marriage. Tiny shares with us saying, happy Monday dating advice, to always listen to your partner, never get angry for long, love and support each other through thick and thin. And Bontle shares with us saying, good morning. Best dating advice I received is to love and support your partner and never let friends come into your relationship. Never touch your partner's phone without his or her permission. Treat them with respect and be loyal to them, and always communicate with your partner. Stay blessed. Of course, the advice is coming in many, many directions, so feel free to head on over to the Expresso Facebook page and share your advice with us.
Well, we've been sharing in the brilliant performances of Niyaz Aronsa this morning. You've been such a vibe, man. We've been enjoying
Thank
you
you
so
so
much.
much.
And I understand that you also have a live show coming up pretty soon where people can
Yes.
actually experience you in living color, right?
Yes. So the live show will happen on the 8th of June. I'm
Yeah.
very excited. I'm going to be performing with my buddy Lincoln Lewis, who's also in the show on Idols season 14. So I'm very excited. It's going to be at the Timo Lounge. You're going to get a vibe of what we just did today. So it's going to be very awesome. It's going to be lit. It's going to be 90s. It's going to be fresh. It's going to be a vibe. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I think I've sold it, so now you know. You guys need to be there.
You
Support.
definitely have done so, man. What's the last song you prepared for us?
So I'm going to be doing Montal Jordan. Get it on tonight. It's a banger, so I hope you guys enjoy it.
Whew, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
When I'm looking at you, I keep thinking, why can't she be like you? So I'm scheming, I can go on like this, believing that her love is true. Oh, standing on the dance floor, while she tricking, you are all I want, girl. She's the chicken. We might be together, but love is missing. What we gon' do? 'Cause girl, I want you. Girl, if it's alright, let's go somewhere to get it on tonight. I got a girl, but you look good tonight. It's one-on-one tonight, tonight. Now she's looking at me. I'm thinking she's trying to ice you. So keep walking over on the dance floor. It's a fall, but what can she do? Tell me, baby, yeah, girl, if you're ready, we can get it on. You know where I went wrong. I know where I belong. Let's go somewhere to get it on tonight. I got a girl, but you look good tonight. It's one-on-one tonight, tonight. Girl, let's go tonight. Let's go somewhere to get it on tonight. I got a girl, but you look good tonight. It's one-on-one tonight, tonight.
Thank you.
Niyaz Aronsa with the Blaze Band. Oh, man.
Take
what
a
a
bow.
vibe. Yeah,
Take a
yeah.
bow.
Take a bow. Oh, yeah, do the hair thing as well.
Doesn't that song make you think you can? Makes you think you can
does, right?
dance,
That's a
you
great
can sing, you can.
During the ad break while they were sound checking, I was
you
just
were breaking it
out.
down,
It
dude.
inspires, man. It really does inspire.
Instagram account, you can see a little you at the moves.
8th of June, though, you can check them out performing live. It's going to be quite a vibe, and he's got a big show planned as well for September.
Nice.
So that's going to be very, very big, yeah?
Awesome.
But tomorrow we're doing all kinds of big things.
Yes, tomorrow's going to be a busy one. Well, you traveled to Dubai. We're going to be checking that out.
The next in the adventures in Dubai.
We did a lot.
I think our next one will be in the biggest theme park in Dubai. So make sure you don't miss out.
Exciting.
See you guys
Okay, well,
tomorrow.
let's see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Fried rolls with cheese.
Expresso Morning Show, made with love by Clover.
Nada. Feel Good Production.